Cubs are on the air. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome once again to Major League Baseball from sunny Wrigley Field. A little bit of a cool breeze blowing in from the lake today, but good baseball weather and a pretty good, enthusiastic crowd. Here as the Cubs and the defending Eastern Division champion Phillies meet for the first time in Chicago this year. And yesterday's game, which was postponed, is going to be made up on Friday, June the 30th, when the Phillies make their next visit into Chicago, and that will be a doubleheader. A little extra treat for you. Bob Kennedy still taking it on the chin a little bit, going along with his weather forecaster yesterday, who said it was going to rain too hard out here for the game to be gotten in. But that's all, here's the expression, water over the dam. Today, Jim Cott, who has one victory, tall left-hander, warming up down the right field line in the Philadelphia bullpen, and that one victory, a 3-hit shutout against the Chicago Cubs in Philly. And against him today is Ray Burris, who's hoping to get things put together this afternoon and see if he can't even up for the year. Ray, after winning his first two decisions of the year, has not been able to post a win since then. And his record now 2-3. His last victory came way back on April the 18th against Montreal here at Wrigley Field. So let's hope 27-year-old right-hander will have it together this afternoon. I'm Vince Lloyd, and along with Lou Boudreau, we welcome you to our broadcast. Today's game from Wrigley Field is brought to you by your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers. Find out how the gallantment of Olds can make car buying a pleasure for you. General Finance's 70 Chicagoland offices. And to borrow up to $10,000, call friendly Bob Adams at Andover 32020. True Value Hardware Stores. Hey, that's not just a name, it's their way of doing business. True Value. The G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. And McDonald's, where you can buy a hot fudge, hot caramel, or strawberry sundae in a special reusable glass. One game well underway this afternoon in the National League. One of those businessmen luncheon affairs going on at Cincinnati between the Reds and the Atlanta Braves. And Atlanta has taken the lead 3-2 at Cincy. Ball game is now in the top of the seventh inning. Cincinnati and the Dodgers both start the action today, one game behind the San Francisco Giants in the Western Division, but for the Cubs an opportunity today to move into the first place spot in the Eastern Division. Yes, the Cubs start today 1/2 game behind the Philadelphia Phillies. Philadelphia, the record of 19 wins, 16 defeats, and the Cubs 19 wins, 17 defeats. The Phillies are almost unbeatable at home, but on the road this year, they are struggling a bit. They've won 6 away from Philadelphia and dropped 10 decisions. And the Cubs, with their sweep over the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend, now have moved over the 500 mark at home. They have now won 9 and lost 7 here at Wrigley Field. I'll have the batting orders for you in just a moment. We got to take time out right now for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago at 129.
For Danny Ozark and the visiting Phillies, Bake McBride will be leading off. They got him last June 15th from the St. Louis Cardinals, to recall, for Tom Underwood, who's no longer with the Cardinals. McBride in right field. Larry Bowa, been on a hot streak, had 10 hits in his last 20 trips to the plate. Bowa is shortstop. Mike Schmidt had a great series against the Cubs in Philadelphia. He'll be at third base. Greg Luzinski from the Chicago area. And Sister Marianne up here visiting us just a few moments ago. She is just graduated from Marquette University. Marianne Luzinski. Craig will be in left field, and Richie Hebner, one-time Pirate, over at first base. Gary Maddox will be following Hebner in the batting order. Maddox in center field. And Bob Boone doing the catching, hitting seventh. With the former Met, Bud Harrelson at second base. Ted Sizemore still wearing a big cast on his left hand. He had had it broken. Harrelson at second base. They had a rookie, Jim Morrison, in there, and for a while he was very hot with the bat, but he cooled off, went into a slump, and so they've got the veteran Harrelson in there. And Jim Cott, one win this year, 3-hit shutout over the Cubs. For Herman Franks and the Chicago Cubs. Leading off, Ivan De Jesus at shortstop. Gene Clines batting second, and Clines will be in right field. Bill Buckner at first base, leading the club with a .324 batting average. Dave Kingman in left field, batting cleanup. Manny Trio at second base, and Trio hitting fifth today, with Bobby Mercer in center field. Steve Olivares at third. Dave Rader, the catcher. Ray Burris, the pitcher, and the Cubs got out of the dugout on the third base side to take their positions on the field. Plate umpire, Ed Fargo. And working at first base, Charlie Williams, Terry Tata at second, and veteran Paul Pryor at third. Now Vance Fothergill in our national anthem. Sunny day for a ball game. And before the leadoff hitter, Bake McBride, steps in against Ray Burris, let's take time out for this message.
Good morning. I'd like to try the breakfast with the hash browns, please.
Oh, McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage. Quick. Oh, you mean like Egg McMuffin?
People order fast.
Would you like some McDonald's coffee with that?
McGuffey.
McGuffey.
Fans are broadcast authorized under rights granted by the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers for this event. It's solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of the game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. Ray's struggling, and his last couple of outings prior to that, he had lost a tough one here to San Francisco by a score of 2-1. But they bombed him out there last Wednesday, his last outing. Wind up in the right-hander's first pitch. Fastball tucked right in under the chin whiskers of Bake McBride. He almost gave him a shave on that one, and McBride, with a full growth of whiskers, probably won't have to touch a razor for a couple of days. He's hitting .292. Left-hander, and he takes this a strike. Driven in 9 runs. He's been on a bit of a hot streak lately. Hit safely in 5 out of his last 6 ball games, and over that span, he's hit .375. Tall, very fast. Wind up in the pitch by Ray. Fastball, a swing and a foul. Comes back up under the net. Ball 1, strike 2. An awful lot of school kids out here today. The Philadelphia Phillies players were asking me down there in the field a couple of hours ago, don't they ever have school in Chicago? I said, nope, not when the Phillies come to town. All schools are closed. 1-2 pitch. Lets up on him, and he swings. He's out in front, gets under it, taps the foul, back up under the net. Ball 1, strike 2 remains. The count on Bake McBride. Tall, lanky outfielder. Billy DeMar is coaching at third base. Former fine infielder Tony Taylor at first. Here's a swing, gets under the fastball, fouls it up over our heads, and the count stays at 1-2. Ray's earned run average has been climbing. When you get 7 runs off of you in 2 innings, that really projects that earned run average very, very quickly. And it's now up over the 4 mark for the year. Big right-hander delivers and just misses at the knees inside. Ball 2, strike 2. He has only 1 complete outing so far this year in 9 starts. Winds, delivers, 2-2 pitch, swung on, ground ball to Jesus. 1 step to his left, he's up with it. Here's the peg over to Buckner. McBride flying down the line, is still out of there. Oh, he can fly. That brings to bat veteran Larry Boa. He's the hottest hitter right now on this Philadelphia ball club. So shortstop, in his last 20 trips to the plate, has pounded out 10 base hits. He's boosted his batting average up to .313. And he's been doing it while suffering with a very painful right heel. And called, second base umpire, Terry Tata. They're in earnest conversation. Bobby Mercer, there's some reflection from something very, very shiny in the seats behind home plate that has gotten into Mercer's eyes, and he's pointing it out. Second base umpire and the plate umpire, Ed Fargo, turning around. They'll try to rectify that one. That's, of course, very, very dangerous, to say the least. Boa hitting .313 now with 8 runs batted in. First in the windup, here's the first pitch. Low, ball 1. Little switch hitter. He hurt his heel coming down hard on the first base bag, trying to run one out. But it sure isn't hurt his hitting. 1-0 delivery. Swung on, and he fouls it back up out of play. 1-1. Atlanta still leading 3-2 over at Cincinnati in their daytime businessmen's game over there. The Reds are batting in the bottom of inning number 7 against Jamie Easterly of the Braves. 1-1 delivery. Fastball is too high. Ball 2, strike 1. Boa, an inspiration to an awful lot of kids who are not big physically. He's small, and he has done it with spirit. Become an outstanding Major League ball player. Fouls that pitch out of play to the left side. One of the handicaps he had when he first came up was his terrible temper. And he's battled to try to control that. Did a pretty good job of it. First in the windup. 2-2 delivery. Swung on. Fouled. Back up onto the net. This one right in front of us. Oh, it stays at 2-2. White Sox, in case you missed it, lost to Nolan Ryan and the California Angels last night out of the West Coast by a score of 5-4. 2-2 pitch. Takes. Strike 3. Outside corner to Leonard. Boa, hottest hitter in the ball club. Banned for the 14th time this year. Struck out about once every 10 trips to the plate on an average. With the bases empty, Mike Schmidt steps in. He hit .615 against the Cubs in the 3-game series over there. One of his 8 hits was a home run. One of 8, or 2 homers again. I'm sorry, against us. And 8 homers for the year. Right-hander takes, and it's a strike. Fastball. He has hit 16 home runs here at Wrigley Field in his career. More than in any ballpark other than his home park. 0-1 delivery. Looks at a strike, a good fastball right at the knees. That is not only a power hitter, he's got a good batting average of .288 coming into this action. Driven in 26 runs this year. First in the windup, 0-2 pitch. Schmidt takes. Breaking ball, low and away. 1-2. Kingman deep guarding the line for him in left field. Mercer is in center field and deep in left center, and Klein gives him the right field line. Bases empty, top of the first inning. No score. Slightly close stance. Pitch to Schmidt. He swings at a bouncing ball through the right side of the infield, and he's going to be on with a single. That brings up the bull, Greg Luzinski. Hitting .265. Has 8 homers, 1 against the Cubs. 21 runs batted in for the year. And he had a good series against the Cubs in Philadelphia. It was 5 for 12. Hit .417. He swings, and there's one deep. Mercer going back. Right to the warning track in center. He's there, and he grabs it. That ball hit out about 380 feet away, but the wind is blowing in about 8 miles an hour. That helped keep it in the ballpark. Deep drive to center. No runs. 2-out single by Schmidt. He's left stranded. And after a half inning at Wrigley Field, the Cubs come to bat against Jim Cotton. No score.
The Dallas Fans of old, we make car buying a pleasure again.
It's unfortunate, but true, that most people find buying a car an unpleasant experience. They feel pressured, spoken down to, and generally unfulfilled. Your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers don't claim to be perfect, but every day we're trying harder to make buying an Oldsmobile as pleasurable as owning one. It's an attitude of warmth, a confidence in our product. It's a team of professionals who know that courtesy and respect for the customer is the best way to sell a car. Come into an Oldsmobile showroom and find out how we can make car buying a pleasure for you.
The Dallas Fans of old, we make car buying a pleasure again. The Dallas Fans of old, we make car buying a pleasure again. The Dallas Fans of old, we make.
making a change in their starting lineup. They have Jay Johnstone rather than Hebner at first base. Checking with their broadcasters next to us, Andy Musser, Richie Ashburn, Harry Callis. They have no reason or no knowledge as to why the change has been made. Johnstone at first base. De Jesus to lead off against the quick-working veteran Jim Cott. Set the Cubs out on a 3-hitter in Philadelphia. Won the ball game 7-0. Tall, lanky fellow. Here's the windup, the first pitch. Ups a fastball. It's in for a strike. At his best year several years ago with the Minnesota Twins. Winds, 0-1 pitch, a curve, and he misses. Ball 1, strike 1. There's a swing and a deep drive to Lisinski. He's moving to his left, and the ball has it. 1 away. De Jesus starting this series with a 267 average. A pretty good go against St. Louis. And here is Gene Klein, hitting 273. 5 runs batted in, no homers. Joe Malfitano coaching at third. Cookie Rojas in the coach's box at first. Bob Boone, the battery mate today for veteran Jim Cott. Klein finally sets himself in there with a wide stance. It's closed. He swings and a drive and a right field base hit. Klein dumps one in front of Bake McBride. Oh, didn't he have a little wider stance than he normally has?
Who, Klein?
Yeah, I didn't notice. Looks like he did. Buckner stepping in, hitting .324 with a homer and 11 runs batted in for the year. Maddox well over into left center for him. Sidearm fastball, and Cott misses outside. This is the 4th start this year for this veteran. And he's 1 complete game, that 3-hit shutout against the Cubs. His earned run average, a good one, 2.59. Stretch the pitch. Swung on, fastball, and Buckner fouls it out of play. The left side, it's 1-1 on him. Jim Lombard out of action right now with a bad back. Larry Christensen not even at the ballpark. He had an asthmatic attack and was hospitalized here in Chicago Monday. And we understand that Christensen is back in the hotel. Here's the swing. He hit him on the fist with that one. Rolls it out to Cott. Picks it up. Wheels to second. And they get the force out on Kleins. Buckner on with the fielder's choice. Cott coming quickly off the mound to the first base side. Picked that up, and he threw Buckner a dandy pitch. Here's Dave Kingman. Kingman batting .248. 9 homers, 24 runs batted in. Leading the National League in homers is Rick Mundy of the Dodgers. He's been out of action the last few games with an injury. It's a swing and a miss on the first pitch. Kingman second, followed by Lisinski, Schmidt, and Johnny Bench. All with 8. Dave was pumping him out here pretty regularly in batting practice. Here's a delivery by Cott. It's too high. Ball 1, strike 1. And they put quite a shift down for him with Harrelson barely on the first base side of second. Schmidt and Boa very deep on the left side of the infield. And the right fielder McBride is way over into right center field. And he takes that one a ball. 2-1. With Lisinski only a few paces off the left field foul line. And the center fielder Maddox perhaps 75, 80 feet off the left field foul line. 2-1 pitch. Swung on a miss. Came down to him with that one. Ball 2, strike 2. No score. Bottom of inning number 1. Each team with a base hit. Buckner out at first base for the Cubs right now. The count on Kingman with 2 away. Ball 2, strike 2. Out into the stretch, the veteran sixth with a fastball. Swung on and he got a piece of it. Fouled it over to the third base side. Benny Trio in the on-deck circle. Ed Fargo had to miss a few ball games. Had a bit of a leg injury. Veteran working down the plate. Another veteran at third, Paul Pryor. Rookie Charlie Williams umpiring at first. Harry Tata, the umpire at second. 2-2 pitch coming up again. Here it is. Fouled back out of play. Fastball to him. We close out the homestand here tomorrow. Then down to St. Louis Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then at Montreal next week. Cardinals lost last night to Montreal with Mike Garman, whom they obtained from the Dodgers. Montreal put up a couple of minor leaguers for him. Pitched 2 strong innings and got the save. That pitch is inside for ball 3, strike 2. Johnstone, the first baseman, holding Buck Duran. He'll be off with this pitch. Full count, 2 away, bottom of the first. Something that the big guy could get a hold of one right here. He steps out of the batter's box. Now he's back in. Caught into the stretch. Here's pitch. Swung out and missed. He took something off of that one and was down low and away. And Dave goes after a bad pitch and strikes out to retire the side. No runs, a hit, 1 man left on. So far, even Steven. The end of 1, no score.
Right now, during the warm months, is the time to get on the People's Gas budget payment plan for the 78-79 season. The sooner you join, the easier it'll be to manage your heating bills next winter. Here's why. First, People's Gas will project your total gas costs from the time you join the plan now till next May or June. Then we'll divide this total estimate into even monthly payments, spreading your gas bills out evenly for both the warm and cold weather. You'll know what to allow in your budget each month for gas from now on, and you'll strike a sensible balance between winter's high bills and summer's low ones. Of course, the more months you have in which to spread out your payments, the smaller the payments will be. So get on the budget payment plan now by calling People's Gas at 431-7000 anytime from 8:15 a.m. to midnight, Tuesday through Friday. That number again, 431-7000. Join the People's Gas budget payment plan now and spread all your gas costs evenly over the next 12 months.
Jay Johnstone batting in the same spot where Richie Hebner has been in the lineup. Hebner out because he became ill. Johnstone, left-hander. Played a couple of years over in the south side of the White Sox. Takes the first pitch of ball. Jay batting just .222, hasn't played an awful lot this year, and he ripped a foul ball down into the Philadelphia bullpen. Jim Lomborg, who already's got a bad back, had to do some quick jumping down there. This is going to help him, isn't he? Dave, with 8 hits and 36 at-bats, looks at Burris's fastball that misses ball 2, strike 1. 2 of his 8 hits, a double, driven in 4 runs. 2-1 pitch, fastball swung on, bounces 1. Trio coming in to his right, he's got it, makes the pickup and the peg in time, and Jay is retired. Slow bouncer. Good pitch by Ray, right on the 5th one. That brings up Gary Maddox, batting .262. No homers for this right-hander, 14 runs batted in. Extremely wide stance point. He swings, there's 1 hit, deep left field. Kingman back, look out, it is gone. 1-0 Philadelphia. Maddox with his first home run of the season. It is his 7th home run given up by Ray already this year. He yielded 2 to the Giants at his last outing in 2 innings. The guys you fear the most on this ball club, Schmidt and Luzinski, yielded an opposite field soft single to Schmidt in the first inning. Got Luzinski in a drive, deep to Mercer. But now, with 1 away, Maddox has put the Phils on the board and Bob Boone in there, and he looks at a strike. Right-hander, straightaway stance. Boone looks, just missed inside of the knees, 1-1. He's hitting .258. 4 homers for the year for Boone and 21 runs batted in. His next pitch, dropped that arm down, and he swung and missed. 1-2 on him. Graduate of Stanford University. 1-2 pitch. Ball too low. 2-2. Gary Maddox with the Phillies' 31st home run of the year. Only 8 of those 31 they have hit away from home. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, ground ball to Trio. Takes a step to his left, and he's got it, makes the pickup, and the toss over to Buckner, retires Bob Boone, 2 away. Brings up veteran Bud Harrelson. Wanted to get away from the New York Mets this year because he knew he was not really going to be in Joe Torre's plans. And the Phillies picked him up. They're happy now that they've got him as insurance in that infield. Sizemore still out of there with a cast on the left hand that he broke. Takes the butt and pulls the bat back from a fastball in too tight. Switch hitter. Let it bat only 30 times for the Phils with 7 hits, a .233 hitter. Didn't have any homers, no runs batted in. Choked up a few inches. Take the bunt on that one, and it's a fastball for a strike call. 1-1. Mercer well over into shallow left center field for him, and Gene Klein very shallow in right. And so is Kingman in left. 1-1 pitch. Looks at the ball. Down around the knees. 2-1. Maddox's homer, giving the Phillies the lead, 1-0. Second inning. There's a swing and a ground ball down to Buckner at first base. He waves Burris away, and that retires aside an unassisted putout. 1 run, 1 hit, nobody left. Cubs come to bat against Jim Cott. It'll be trio, Mercer and Olivares. Philadelphia leading 1-0.
Hello, General Finance. Friendly Bob Adams speaking.
It's Steve Doorman here, Bob. You loaned me some money to get married 6 months ago.
Right, Steve. How are things working out for the newlyweds?
Just great, Bob.
Something the matter, Steve?
Well, I came home early one day last week. I caught her.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Steve.
There they were, all there, under the bed.
I'm not quite following you, Steve.
I caught her hiding the bills we've received for the last 6 months.
Still not reading you, Steve. Why don't you spell it out?
Well, she wanted to show me how far she could stretch $1, so...
Oh, she hid the bills.
Right, Bob, and now I owe...
Oh, 6 months worth of bills.
Right, Bob.
Well, dry your eyes, Steve. A consolidation loan will take care of those bills. And remember, you can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance.
Come out from under the bed, Audrey.
70 General Finance Chicago area offices to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 32020. Also an office in Kankakee.
Trio batting .274 for the year. 15 runs batted in. Doesn't have a homer yet. Leading off, and he'll be followed by Bobby Mercer. Battle for the Eastern Division leadership. But the Cubs, in order to leave home in first place, just as Cott was ready to pitch trio, asked for and got time. In order to leave here tomorrow in first place, the Cubs need to sweep this bobtail series. Now, the windup in Cott's first pitch. It's too high. Ball 1. Likes to work fast. Comes over the top of them. It's in too close. Ball 2. The victory that he got at Philadelphia this year over the Cubs, his only decision against us, and he's lost 3 times to the Cubs. Line delivers. There's a swing and a drive into left center field. That's hit well, but Maddox over in a hurry. And he grabbed it. Not only has an awful lot of speed, he gets a good jump on the ball. For a moment, it looked like it might be in the gap out there. But Maddox closed that gap in a hurry. There's Bobby Mercer hitting .263 with a couple of home runs, including a grand slammer at Philadelphia. Give the Cubs the victory in the final game of that series by a score of 4-2. Driven in 18 runs. Left-hander against left-hander. First pitch is a curve, and Cott misses in too close. Jim in his career, 254 lifetime victories. Fastball swung on, ground ball, back to the middle, backhanded by Harrelson. The second baseman's tossed in time to first base. 2 gone. That brings up Steve Olivares. Well, Jim has lost 254. He has lost 212. Steve still struggling, batting only 153 for the year, with 4 runs batted in, batting right-handed against Cott. Fastball, he goes to the right side, base hit right over the bag at first base, going down against the right field foul wall, picked up by McBride. Here's the throw to second. He slides in there with a double. They tell you he couldn't have drawn that one, Lou, any closer to being fair or foul, could he?
No, I'm glad the first base umpire called it a fair ball. It could have been called either way from this position.
Yeah. But Steve can use it. Of his 19 hits, he now has 4 doubles. 2 gone. Dave Rader stepping in. Chance to tie up the ball game with a base hit. Swings at the first pitch, and he bounces it out to Bo with the shortstop. He's going to be out. He is. Slide is retired. No runs. A 2-out double by Olivares. He's left stranded. And at the end, 2 full innings of play at Wrigley Field. Bills come to bat. They lead on Gary Maddox's home run, 1-0.
Warm, sunny days of spring are the perfect time to paint your house. National True Test Paint Week is the perfect time to buy True Test house paint from True Value Hardware stores. Now until June the 4th, you can get True Test Woodsman Solid Color Latex Stain to beautify rough or smooth wood, indoors and out, in 22 rustic flat colors for just $6.99 a gallon. And you can get True Test Weatherall Acrylic Latex House Paint from True Value Hardware stores. Weatherall has earned the Good Housekeeping seal, and it comes in white and 35 Jamestown colors for just $9.97 a gallon. So take advantage of the special values on True Test paints during National True Test Paint Week, now until June the 4th.
Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau back with you at Wrigley Field. Lou, come on.
Thank you, Vince. Phillies leading 1-0. Now in the 3rd inning, Cott will lead off against Cubs right-hander. Cott with a 1-0 lead. Each team with 2 hits, but the big blow is Gary Maddox's first home run of the year, coming with 1 out in the 2nd inning. Now Cott, who bats left-handed as he pitches, steps in the batter's box. First pitch on the way. High, ball 1. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago. It's 2 o'clock.
The next pitch is low outside. Ball 2, no strikes. Cott will be followed by the top of the order, McBride. There's a strike right down the middle. Bobby Mercer in center field plays over into right center, or left center, I should say, for Cott. Swinging a ground ball to second baseman. Trio has it. 1 out. 1 away, and here's McBride. Grounded out to DeJesus in the 1st inning. Cubs with 26 double plays compared to 36 for the Phillies. McBride, very fast, steps in the batter's box. The first pitch on the way. Checks his swing on the slider inside. Ball 1, no strikes. Cubs play McBride to swing late. Mercer also shading him into left center. There's a pitch outside. Ball 2, no strikes. Phillies on top of the Eastern Division by a half a game. Popped up short left field. DeJesus back on the outfield grass. Under it, he has it for the out. 2 outs. And here's Larry Boa. Here's another pop-up down the third base line. Ontiveros is there in foul territory. He has it, 3 out. 3rd inning, no runs, no hits, nobody left on base. Cubs come to bat in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and they will send the Cubs pitcher and then the top of the order. Phillies lead 1-0.
Big league trades often come as a surprise to ball players, especially to the established old pro who may have been resting on his laurels. But sometimes a change of scene is good for a player, and a new face in the lineup is just the tonic a lethargic ball club needs. Of course, when it comes to beer, it's safe to say there's one trade you'll never make. Because once you experience the great light taste of Heilmann's old-style beer, you'll sign a lifetime contract. Old Style is a hit right off the bat because it's brewed with water that flows sparkling pure from deep underground springs. With water like this, when you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. This double brewing, pure brewing, is an old world process known as poisoning. It's the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country.
Boone trotting out to the mound to have a little chat with his pitcher, Jim Cott. Cott is a very fast worker. This is the bottom of the third inning. Cubs with no runs, 2 hits. Phillies, 1 run, 2 hits. A home run by Maddox, the center fielder. First pitch, a swing and a miss, strike 1. Klein's single to right in the first inning with 1 out. Ontiveros doubled down the right field line with 2 outs. There's a swing and a long fly ball into left center. That's going to drop in there for extra bases. Maddox picks it up. And here's Burris trying to go for 3. The throw is too late, and it goes into the dugout. The Cubs have tied it up. 1-1. It's a throwing error by Maddox. It's a 3-base hit. And the throwing error by Maddox enables the Cubs to score this 1 run to tie up this ball game 1-1. The Phillies were playing over into right center. Maddox was. McBride was guarding the line. The ball was hit just to the right of the 368-foot marker. And as Maddox got the ball and threw it to third, his throw went into the Cubs dugout. The relay throw went in to the Cubs dugout, and error on Boa. 1-1 ball game. Now here's De Jesus at bat. Caught into the windup, the pitch a let up. Ground ball to third baseman. He bobbles it. Picks it up, throws to first. It gets past the first baseman, goes into the dugout, and De Jesus is awarded second base. 2 quick errors here in the third inning. The Phillies went into this game with only 20 errors. Now they have 22. De Jesus is on second base. And here's Klein's at bat. They had 27 errors, so make that 29. It's an error all the way. Here's a bunt down the first base line. Pass caught. It's a base hit. Dean Klein pushing that ball beautifully past the on-charging pitcher Cott. The ball went beyond him. Harrelson moved to cover first base. So, credit Klein with a bunt single, his second of the day. It moves De Jesus to third. And now Cubs have runners on first and third. Nobody out. Buckner, the hitter. Swinging a fly ball, left center, deep. Both men are tagging up. De Jesus at third will score. Maddox is thrown to second base. There goes Klein, and he's a dead duck. He didn't even slide into second. But Maddox's throw was on the money to Harrelson, who put the tag on Klein for a double play. Number 37 for the Phillies. Credit Buckner with a sacrifice fly and an RBI. Cubs have taken the lead 2-1. First pitch to Kingman, a ball. Jim Cott is ready. The pitch, high curveball. Outside, ball 2. Kingman taking his time now. With a ball 2, no strike count. Cott is ready. The pitch on its way. Hits inside and low, ball 3. And he will be going after this one. Kingman levels the bat over the plate. The pitch, swing and a miss. And he had a tremendous swing at that one. Three and one to count, 2 outs, nobody on base. Pitch on its way, strike called over the outside corner. And you won't see Kingman taking a pitch that close to the plate with a count of 3 and 1. Now it's 3 and 2, and Cott wants to pitch quickly. 3 and 2 pitch. Pop foul, out of play. Kingman straightens up. Once they get set in that batter's box, he does. Cott is ready. Ball 3, strike 2 pitch. Swinging another foul, and he just missed that one. The count remains 3 and 2. Once again, the 3 and 2 pitch on its way. Kingman's ready. Here it is. Swings, pops it up. Over second base. Harrelson is there. He's under it. He's on the infield grass. He takes it for the out. Kingman pops out to Harrelson to close out the third inning. But in the inning, 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors.
Schmidt and Aralou failing to pick up the ball, and then another one on the air, on the throw.
Make that 3 errors in the inning, and nobody left on base. So at the end of 3, Cubs 2, and the Phillies 1.
Did you ever see a Sunday smile?
No, but I once saw a glass bowl. That's a Sunday smile. It's glass.
Great taste. Now you can buy a McDonald's sundae in a reusable glass.
What a value.
Offer expires June 4th at participating McDonald's.
True Value Hardware stores want you to stay in tune this summer by tuning in a portable radio from General Electric. Hi, Pat Summerall to suggest you get the GE AM FM TV portable that'll let you listen to the VHF television programs without a TV set. It's just $34.88. And from now until June the 18th, you can get a special $3 rebate back from General Electric. And that should be music to your ears. Get the GE AM FM TV portable from participating True Value Hardware stores. And tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
Now we move along to the 4th inning of play. It's Smith, who singled into right field, will lead off, followed by Lazinski, and then Johnstone. The pitch on the way is high, ball 1. Cubs have taken the lead 2-1 with a little help from the Phillies. Smith swings. It's a ground ball pass on to Barris. Off of the Jesus' glove. He cannot make the play at first, and it's a base hit for Smith. Smith now 2 for 2. Phillies now with 3 hits. And here is Lazinski. Lazinski flies deep to Mercer in center field. His first time at bat. Lazinski swings a ground ball out to Barris. Goes to second. He forces Smith on a very close play. And Trio, being very smart, did not attempt to complete the double play. He was happy to force Smith at second base because the ball was just tapped very weakly to Ontiveros. Going into second base. Here's Jay Johnstone at bat. The pitch. Swing and a high foul ball. Down the right field line. 1 out. Lazinski at first. Buckner holding Lazinski on at first. The pitch on its way. Outside and low, ball one. 1-1 to count. Lazinski with a short lead at first. Ball two outside. Two and 1 to count, 1 out. Fourth inning. Swinging a ground ball to Buckner. He goes to DeJesus for one. DeJesus a throw back, a double play. Buckner makes that play as well as anybody in baseball. 3-6-3, which is a difficult play. You have to feel that ball cleanly and throw a perfect strike to the shortstop coming over second base, and that's exactly what Buckner did. Returned to first to take the throw from DeJesus. Cubs now with their 27th double play. In the fourth inning, no runs, 1 hit. Nobody left on base. Cubs come to bat, fourth inning, leading the Philadelphia Phillies 2-1.
The gallant band of old, we make our lives a pleasure again. The gallant band of old, we make our lives a pleasure again. The gallant band of old, we make.
In the bottom of the fourth inning, it'll be Trio, Mercer, on Taveras. Cubs with a 1-run lead. Cott is ready. Left-hander into the windup and first pitch to Trio. Strike called right down the middle. Phillies play Trio straight away. There's a ball high. Cott gets his sign from Boone. The pitch on the way to Trio. Let up outside and high. Ball two, strike one. Phillies will be here tomorrow afternoon. Swinging a pop-up out of play. Down the right field line. 2-2 to count. Trio will be followed by Mercer. And then on Taveras. Smith deep at third, as is Boa at short. The swing ground ball to the shortstop. Boa charges it, has it, throws to first, and 1 out. Cott throws a lot of sinkers and then off-speed pitches. Makes the hitters hit the ball into the ground. Here's Mercer. Grounded out to Harrelson at second in the second inning. Second time around now for the Cubs. The pitch on its way. Swinging a fly ball down the left field line, but curving foul. Mercer trying to go to the opposite field as Maddox is playing him to hit into right center. McBride is deep in right. Big hole in left center for Bobby. Low, 1-1 to count. 1 out, nobody on base. White Sox will be at California tonight. Cleveland at New York. Kansas City at Seattle. Strike called over the outside corner. 1-2 to count. Detroit will take on Baltimore later on. Texas at Minnesota tonight. Milwaukee at Oakland tonight. That is the American League schedule. The pitch. Swinging a foul ball over the Cubs dugout. In the National League, Houston will be at San Francisco. That game to get underway in approximately 45 minutes. Los Angeles at San Diego, Montreal at St. Louis tonight. New York will be at Pittsburgh tonight. Cincinnati is batting in the bottom of the ninth inning, trailing Atlanta 4-3. The pitch on the way. Inside, brushes him back away from the plate. The count now, 2-2. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Mercer strikes out as Cott slipped a fastball by him. Well, Cincinnati came up with 2 runs in the ninth inning to defeat Atlanta 5-4. We don't know whether there was a home run in that contest or not. The ticker does a lot of testing, and then when it comes to give you the score, they put in 1/4 in the 9th inning for Cincinnati, but they win 5-4. Then they scored 3 in the 8th. Well, we'll have to find out. They scored 3 in the 8th to win 5-4. Ontiveros says the count of ball 3 and no strikes with 2 outs. Rader due up next. Strike called. It's 3-1. Cubs lead 2-1. The pitch. Inside, ball 4. That's the first walk issued by Kopp. Now here's Rader at bat. Grounded out to the shortstop. First time at bat. Kopp takes a stretch. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Strike called as Kopp slipped the fastball over the outside corner. 2 strikes now on Rader. Ontiveros on first, 2 outs. We're in the 4th inning. Swinging a fly ball into right field. McBride is there, backs up a few strides. He has it, 3 outs. No runs, no hits. 1 walk in the inning, 1 man left on base. At the end of 4 complete innings of play. It's the Chicago Cubs 2, Philadelphia Phillies 1.
Buying a new car, oh, that's costly enough. But when it comes to getting lower cost auto insurance, come to Yale Insurance Agency. Now also located in your nearby community family center store. Bring your present policy with you, and whether you're renewing it or need total new coverage, Yale makes certain you get every discount, every benefit you deserve. Because of Yale's long association with many of America's finest insurance companies, you get the best of all protection plans, and for less money. All claims are settled promptly and to your advantage because a Yale counselor is always on the job and working for you. Why pay more for less coverage? Why make any costly mistakes? It costs nothing to talk to a Yale man, whether you call 427-6322 or drive to your nearby community store. But don't wait. Get all the money-saving facts today. Call 427-6322. Now, that's 427-6322 or drive in. That's Yale, the lower-cost auto insurance people. Ray Burris will be facing to lead off the Philadelphia 5th inning, Gary Maddox, who homered in the 2nd. By the way, when you're out at Wrigley Field tomorrow, look for the new Cubs Daily Stat Sheet. It's now available at the ballpark wherever the programs are sold. You get a complete daily update of statistics, including the batting and pitching stats for the Cubs and the opposing team of the day. And the sheet also gives you the latest Major League standings, a lot more background information. You get it all for just 25 cents. So, pick one up every time you come out to a Cubs game this year. Message furnished by the Chicago Cubs. Maddox looks like he's going to do the splits in that batter's box. The wide stance steps in. Here's Ray in the windup of the first pitch, a fastball that's missed just inside below the belt. Ball 1 in the right-hander. Cincinnati, with their victory today, 26 wins, leads the Western Division in victories. Swinging a ground ball to Ontiveros. Over to Buckner, in time to retire Gary this time. But the Reds have also lost 17 games. And that is 3 more defeats than the Western Division leading Giants, 1 more than the Dodgers. They came from behind to defeat Atlanta today after losing to them last night. Bob Boone stepping in, takes the first pitch, a ball. Fastball away to the right-hander. Ray in the windup. Boone swings and a hard line drive down the left field line. It's going down the corner for extra bases. Boone on his way, chugging into second. He's not a very speedy guy. He's going to settle for a 2-bagger. And a hard hit shot. With a score 2-1 in favor of the Cubs, he represents the tying run out there at second base with 1 away. And Harrelson will be the hitter. That's only The third double this year for Boone. Burris got it up a little bit. That's been his problem in his last couple of starts, is his location of his pitches. And he has, a couple of times, just been one out away from getting out of the jam. Harrelson, batting lefty, takes the fastball. It's outside. Ball one. By the way, Seattle and Kansas City split their twilight doubleheader last night, in case you were wondering. Seattle won the first one 4-3. The Royals took the nightcap 5-3. Long look at second. Now he comes to the plate, and Harrelson swings. A little fly ball coming over is Bobby Mercer in left center field. Makes the catch, and Boone will have to hold at second base. That'll bring up Jim Cott. He's 0 for 8 as a batter this year. Cott is. Harrelson, not a power hitter at the plate, and the outfield was around to the left for him and very shallow. Eastern Division race in the American League is a tight one. Detroit leading by a few percentage points over the Boston Red Sox. Jim, a left-handed hitter, 39-year-old veteran, takes a strike, a fastball to the knees. And the Yankees in third place, and they're only half game out. That's how tight that Eastern Division race is in the American League. Half game separating Boston, Detroit, and the Yankees. Again, the stretch by Ray. Looks again at second. Comes to the plate. Cott swings. Ground ball to Trio. Should retire the side. Takes a nice hop for him. Cott lumbering down the line. Is retired. No runs, a hit. One out double by Boone, who's left stranded. And the Cubs come to bat at Wrigley Field in the bottom of inning number 5. Rader, Burris, and in the top of the batting order against Jim Cott. The Cubs still leading 2-1.
General Finance, friendly Bob Adams.
It's Susan Salava, Bob, and I need an emergency loan.
Oh, what happened, Susan?
A pipe burst in the basement, Bob. It was a regular flood.
Well, an emergency loan can help.
Oh, good, because we're really getting hungry.
Hungry?
But the water got in the pantry and washed off all the labels on the canned goods.
So now you can't eat.
Oh, we eat, but we discovered some strange combinations when we opened up the cans.
I see.
Like we served the in-laws chocolate syrup and bacon bits.
Well, I'm sure they understand.
Well, they did until breakfast when they got smoked oysters and sauerkraut.
We can rush that loan, Susan.
Oh, thanks, Bob. Hey, can I send you a can of asparagus spears?
No, that's,
Oh, this is cat food.
When you need financial assistance, General Finance has a plan to fit your needs.
By now, why it makes sense to call General Finance for their person-to-person Bob Adams service. General Finance has a professional experience in the particular plan for your particular needs. There are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. Call General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 3-2020. Also an office in McHenry. So far, so good. Dave Rader. Cubs leading 2-1. Will be stepping in. Sorry, it's going to be Ray Burris who's going to be stepping in. As Rader had made the last out in the 4th inning. And Ray led off the 3rd inning with what looked like it might be a double. But the big guy with those long legs of his was set for going for 3. He got in there with a hit first slide. He swings and lifts a fly ball in the first pitch. This is going to be handled easily. Maddox is there. Calls it in. And then on the relay throw to third base from Boa, the shortstop, it hit Burris in the back as he was sliding in, went into the end of the Cub dugout for an error on the shortstop. So Burris was awarded the plate. That tied up the ball game. And then DeJesus with a one-hopper to Mike Schmidt. It bounced off of him for the first error against Mike. Then his throw was a wild one, went into the dugout, and he was awarded a second error on that play. And DeJesus was then able to score a little later on Buckner's sacrifice fly. Ivan takes the ball in the first pitch, caught in the windup. Curveball. Misses inside. 2-0 on Ivan. Started the day hitting .267. Officially is 0 for 2, but has tallied a run, the lead run. 2-0 pitch. Fastball. In for a strike. He was taking. Ball 2, strike 1. Had a good series against St. Louis. 2-1 pitch, swung on, ground ball. Schmidt to his left. Mike has it. Straightens up, tosses over to Jay Johnstone for the out, 2 away. Well, Schmidt was charged with those 2 errors. He is one of the superior third basemen in the majors. Very, very quick and a strong arm. Gene Klein singled to right field in the first inning and a bunt single in the third, so he's 2 for 2 today. Low stance, that front foot, the left one, up near the plate, right up at the edge of the plate. Swings on a fastball, fouls it sharply into the box seats. Nice grab by a guy. Scott bending from the waist. He's tall, about 6'4". 0-1 pitch, swung on at a deep fly ball to Maddox. He goes casually back, and he's there to make the catch easily. Right up on that one. So the Cubs go down 1-2-3 in the 5th inning. And at the end of 5 in a swiftly moving ball game, it's still the Cubs 2 and the Phillies 1.
Hi, Mary. What's that?
These?
Those next to your scrambled eggs and sausages leaning against the English muffin.
Oh, yeah, that's McDonald's hash browns are very good.
Don't kid me around.
Hash browns, McDonald's style.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Bud.
Hi, Bud.
Boy, what are those?
Take a bite. They're good.
Hash browns. Let me taste it. Taste this.
Hey, real potatoes cooked up crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, just like our world famous fries. They may look a little different, but they taste terrific.
Hash browns.
Hash browns.
They're good. They're terrific. And they're gone.
The end of school can also mean the beginning of more dirty finger marks on your walls and woodwork. So True Value hardware stores are offering True Test Easy Care Latex Flat Enamel at a special price. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you Easy Care has a scrubbable enamel hard finish. Yet it has a flat latex look in 44 colors plus white. So get True Test Easy Care, the paint that's earned the Good Housekeeping seal for just $9.97 a gallon during National True Test Paint Week now until June the 4th at participating True Value hardware stores.
Bogren's groundskeeping crew has just finished raking up the infield. Let's pause a moment for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Vince Lloyd here with you. Bake McBride, the leadoff hitter for the Phillies, to step in. Grounded out to DeJesus and popped up to Ivan so far today. Left-hander. Famous singer, Lee Pelty, out here today with his handsome young son, Adam Pelty, was busy cutting commercials this morning to keep the old man going. First pitch by Ray, and he to get out of the way of a fastball in too tight at the belt. And Bill Berg taking a busman's holiday out here, enjoying the action this afternoon, and hoping that Bob Collins will be ready to go to work when he's supposed to. Wishful thinker. Here's a swing and a line shot over the glove of Buckner. Climbs. Cannot cut it off. It bounces against the vines, and here's McBride on his way to third base. 3-0 three-lay throw. Will be 2 ladies in with a triple. Jake McBride slamming one, a screaming liner. Buckner leaped for the ball, could not get it over his glove, and Klein's racing over, trying to cut it off, couldn't get to it in time. So they have the tying run at third to lead off the 6th. That's for Bake McBride, his second 3-base hit of the year. The Cub infield is being drawn in, almost all the way in. Like Buckner and Trio on the right side are. Here's Boa. He swings, and a soft fly down the left field line shadow. Kingman is there. He makes the catch, and McBride will not attempt to score. As Kingman wound up racing in under that little soft pop-up and caught it perhaps 100 feet down the line from third base. Here's Mike Schmidt. First really has his work cut out for him. Facing the heart of this tough Philadelphia batting order with 1 out, tying run at third. Randy Lurch, normally a starting pitcher, getting in some exercise down in the Philadelphia bullpen. Schmidt, a single to right, and a single to the left side in the 4th inning, so he's 2 for 2 today. And all he's done against the Cubs so far this year is wrap out 10 hits in 15 at-bats. He's been poisoned. Started the day hitting .288. First pitch. Fastball. The right-hander takes it in tight at the belt. Remember a couple of years ago when he hit 4 home runs out here in one game? 1-0 delivery to Mike from the windup. Takes it outside. Fastball. Lurch, I'm sure, is just getting in some work out there. He's not sure they're not going to bring him in relief today. 2-0 delivery, and Schmidt swings and misses at a real good cut at a good fastball. Ball 2, strike 1. When the Phillies first scouted Mike, he was playing at shortstop. They didn't quite think he had the range for that position, but they liked his arm, and they figured he would get even stronger at the plate than that he has. 2-1 delivery to him. Swung on, and there's a deep drive to Mercer in center field. McBride is going to tag up, and he'll score the tying run. Mercer just concedes it. Lots to throw in towards second base. It is now tied 2-2. Schmidt's 27th run batted into the year. With the bases empty, the bull, Greg Blusinski, steps in. For Schmidt with his ground ball in the fourth, and he swings and misses. Strike 1. He's been in a little bit of a slump. Greg wears contact lenses during the game. 0-1 delivery. And it misses outside at the knees, and the big fella normally will not wear glasses off the baseball field, except when he's driving, and particularly at night. Apparently he's a little nearsighted. Fouls that pitch back out of play, and the count on him is ball 1, strike 2. He has 11 career home runs at Wrigley Field. 5 less than Mike Schmidt. Homered against the Cubs at Veterans Stadium this year. 1 of 8 home runs that he has. Holds that bat close to the chest and straight up in the air. 1-2 delivery. He takes it inside. When they scouted him at Notre Dame High School here in Niles, he was a catcher. And they liked his bat. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, a deep drive, curling down the right field foul line. It is out of play into the box seats as he drilled one deep to the opposite side. Ball 2, strike 2 on Luzinski. While he's walking back up the line with 2 out bases empty, let me remind you kids that you can get your free Cubs t-shirt with the Cubs Bear emblem. Show everybody how much you love these Cubs. 15,000 t-shirts. Going to be given away to every child, 13 and under, with a fully paid ticket. Bleacher tickets not included. The date's in a moment. 2-2 pitch. Checks his swing on a curve into the dirt. Raiders scampering over quickly. He thought Luzinski may have committed himself, but he had not. Did the ball that he's batting go foul? Not the way Raider acted, but apparently Fargo says, yeah, it grazed his bat. But the scoreboard shows 3-2 now. So dates for T-shirt day, Saturday, June the 3rd. Just one date, I'm sorry. Cubs and against, they'll be playing Atlanta that day. Here's the pitch he takes low for ball 4. That's the first walk of the day issued by Ray. And Johnstone stepping in. To order tickets in advance for T-shirt day, Saturday, June 3rd, you can use your MasterCharge or Visa card and call the credit card ticket line, 248-7900. That's 248-7900. Johnstone takes, and it's a strike. Hebner became ill and was scratched from the starting lineup. Johnstone, the left-hander, replacing him. First from the stretch, here's the pitch. Steps into it, and he takes a fastball high. They rescued Johnstone from the minors a couple of years ago. He was playing with Toledo, and they purchased his contract from the Mud Hens. 1-1 delivery. Checks his swing, it's a strike as Burris came in with a breaking pitch to him. Kept it down on the way to the left-hander. It's a stretch by Ray. 1-2 delivery. Johnstone swings at a drive left center field. Mercer is over there. Should have it. He does. Makes the catch to retire the side. Lead-off triple by Bake McBride, who comes in on a one-out sacrifice fly by Mike Schmidt in the sixth to tie it up. A walk, one man left on. So the Cubs come to bat at Wrigley Field. In the bottom of the sixth, it'll be Buckner, Kingman, and Trio against Jim Trott in a tied-up ball game at 2.
Water from God's country. Sparkling, pure spring water. Gottlieb Heilemann spent years looking for water like this. He found it in La Crosse, Wisconsin in 1853. Heilemann still uses this water today to double brew a great light beer called Old Style in a traditional old world way called krausening. Krausening is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. But at Old Style, we don't aim to make the most beer, only the best. That's why we use krausening and sparkling, pure Wisconsin spring water. Taste the difference they make. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. G. Heilemann Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Bill Buckner leading off. Drove in the Cubs' second run of the day with a sacrifice fly in the third. Vince Lloyd here with you at Wrigley Field. Don Albert, our engineer today, and Jack Minovich, our producer. Tight one, the Cubs have 4 hits. The Phillies have 5, but the Phils have been guilty of 3 errors today. Buckner swings, ground ball, past Cap into center field as Jim wound up sitting on the grass in front of the mound with his back to home plate in his haste to try to knock that ball down. A single directly up the middle for Buckner. He represents the go-ahead run, and Dave Kingman the batter. So each team now with 5 base hits. Kingman is fanned and popped up, and he struck out going after a bad pitch on a 3-2 count of the first. There's the first pitch into the dirt, bounces away from Boone, and Buckner is on at second base. Now Warren Brewster, a right-hander and a good reliever, jumps up and races down to the Philadelphia bullpen to start heating up in a hurry. Been plagued a little bit, Brewster has, lately with a bad side. But they told me before the ball game that he is ready for work today. The first pitch to Kingman was a curve into the dirt for a wild pitch. 1-0 delivery by Cott. Takes it outside. He wouldn't chase it. 2-0. Sometimes he shows such a great eye at the plate. He'll take a pitch 6 inches out of the strike zone. Then another time he'll be fooled so badly you can't believe it's the same hitter. Stretched by the veteran, and a curve. In for a strike. Really short-armed him with that one. No great body motion with it at all. Ball 2, strike 1. So the Storkman pitches. A plague on that rubber, looking now over the right shoulder to get his side. Now he's into the stretch with Buckner at second and nobody out. And the 2-1 pitch. It's a little off and he misses low as he came over the top with that one. Ball 3, strike 1. Kingman was pounding about with great regularity in batting practice today. They have that shift on for him in the outfield. All 3 outfielders well over to the left side. He tried to go to the right side the other day, and he got himself a single up the middle. Throws that one very high. Looked like he was trying to throw a curve, but it didn't break at all. And Kingman trots down to first on a base on balls. That is the first walk issued by Jim Cott. Manny Trio stepping in a tied-up ball game, and Al Patano calling time, trotting out to have some counsel with Buckner, who represents the go-ahead run in the ball game. Joey trotting back to his spot in the coach's line at third. And now he calls time as he wants to run up to talk to Manny Trio, the hitter, to be sure that they have the signs right here, know exactly what's going to be pulled off. That way there can be no mistake. whether it's going to be put on the first pitch, second one, or whatever. In Rojas, standing in the coach's near the coach's box at first base. And he hollers something to Kingman. Big Dave gets his stretch. First baseman Johnstone anticipating a bunt. Here's the pitch, and he pushes the bunt to the first base side. Picked up by Johnstone, throws to third. They got the force out. Jay Johnstone anticipating it and made a perfect throw as he charged that ball. And Buckner erased on the force out. Hoping he could get that ball over to the third base side to force the play there. Now Bobby Mercer stepping in with one away. Kingman at second base. Trio on with the fielder's choice. Mercer grounded and fanned, and he swings a one-hopper to the pitcher. Could be a double play. It is to retire the side. Went after the first pitch. And a one-hopper right back to Jim Cott, who gets out of a real jam with ease on successive pitches. Phillies come up with their 37th double play of the year. No runs, one hit, a walk, and one man left on the bases. So at the end of 6, it is still tied 2-2.
Did you ever see a Sunday smile?
No, but I once saw a glass bowl. That's a Sunday smile. It's glass.
Great taste.
Now you can buy a McDonald's sundae in a reusable glass.
What a value.
Offer expires June 4th at participating McDonald's.
McDonald's Sundays will make you smile.
Bob, you've never smelled like that before. Well, I never had a McDonald's sundae before.
We want to get you smiling.
McDonald's is serving sundaes. Vanilla swirls covered with hot fudge, strawberry, or caramel.
You're the one.
Okay, Herbie, you're gonna smile.
Forget it, guys.
Look, Herbie. A McDonald's sundae
with hot fudge.
Herbie, you're smiling. I am smiling.
McDonald's.
I'm smiling.
We got a smile for you.
Looked like we had something going, but boy, it sure didn't last very long. Sacrifice, it fails, and then on the next pitch, a double play ball, started by the pitcher. Get 'em Cubbies. That's a colorful banner held up by some kids behind home plate, and the first pitch is swung on here, and a high pop up to the shortstop is Gary Maddox. Goes after the first one and opens up the 7th inning with a soft pop up to the shortstop.
For those that are keeping score, let's remind them there was only 2 errors in that inning. They only charged Smith with 1 error.
Did they retrace it? They announced 2 at the time, Lou. And they went back on it. Okay. Here's Bob Boone. First pitch to him. And he checks his swing on a slider. But not in time, and it's in for a strike. In case you're wondering what we're talking about, that occurred back in the 3rd inning when DeJesus hit a ground ball to Schmidt, and the ball wound up after he threw it over in the Phillies dugout, and DeJesus wound up at second and was able to score later on a sacrifice fly. Let's up on that one. It's too low. Ball 2. Well, a year ago, the Phillies had the same record as the Cubs have today, 19-17. 2-1 pitch. Boone swings on a fly ball. Klein's coming in. It drops in front of him for a base hit. Opposite field single, his second hit of the day. But with 19-17 a year ago, the Phillies were in 4th place, 5.5 games out. The teams today are in second, only half game behind the Phillies. Harrelson, the hitter. And again, Brewster gets up in the bullpen for Philadelphia, and Donnie Moore gets up in the Cup bullpen down the left field line. First pitch to Harrelson. Fastball for a strike. A lot of special school groups here today. Bleachers pretty well filled up. They have 6 hits, the Cubs with 5. And the game tied at 2. Here's the delivery. Harrelson looks at a fastball a little low, 1-1 on him. From the North School at Villa Park, Principal Larry McCoy had a group up here at our booth a little while ago. including the daughter of our engineer, Don Albert, Jody Albert. There's a swing and a drive into left center field. It's in for a base hit. Berkshire coming over to cut it off, and they have runners at first and second with one away. Harrelson, an opposite field line shot. Now Jim Cott, the batter. And Herman Frank, Venus Lowry, is number 1A, standing, looking pretty nervous down in that Cub dugout. Billy DeMars, longtime Philadelphia coach, calling the go-ahead runner, Bob Boone, over for a quick word with him. And Cott wants to know exactly what's going to be going on. And he's walking down the line to talk to DeMars. Cubs a golden opportunity in the bottom of the 6th inning. First two batters reached. But then Trio, attempting to sacrifice, bunted into a force play at third. Mercer, the next batter, went after the first pitch, hit into a double play. And that ended that. Now the Phillies with something going, with Jim Cott, the hitter, and runners at first and second with one away. Danny Ozark climbed up on the top step. Now the Philadelphia skipper sitting back. Ray Ripplemeyer there with him, his pitching coach. Time is called. Dave Rader, Steve Monteveres, and Manny Trio all going out to talk. And now Cott is being called back, and Jose Cardinal is being set to the plate as a pinch hitter against the Cubs. His first appearance in the uniform of the enemy in Wrigley Field this year. So Cott is going to be taken out. Jose is a pinch hitter. 2 hits and 5 trips and 2 runs batted in. And it's got to be a dramatic moment for him. His first appearance for the Phillies at Wrigley Field as a pinch hitter in a ball game that is knotted at 2 apiece. He had started against the Cubs at Philadelphia this year and was playing at first base. Jose, for the season, has been at bat 25 times for the Phillies with 9 hits, 4 of them doubles, and 6 runs batted in. 9 for 25 leaves him with a .360 batting average for Philadelphia. Down that dark red Philadelphia batting helmet. Counting off the bat handle. Takes plenty of time before he gets into the batter's box. And to note, telling me that Jose's parents left to go back to Cuba this morning. Remember how many anxious years he had in trying to get them out of there so he could see them? An awful lot of help from an awful lot of people. And so that they left to go back to Cuba this morning, he has still kept his home in suburban Northbrook here. Burris facing Jose with runners at first and second, one away. Here's the pitch. Little guy takes, the fastball is high. Ball 1. Jose was 1 for 6 against the Cubs at Philadelphia, but drove in 2 runs. 1-0 delivery. Takes it inside above the knees, and Burris behind him, 2-0. And Jose gets out of the batter's box for a moment. Looks down to DeMars, wants to be sure he can go after this pitch if he wants to. Hines is pretty shallow for him in right field. Mercer's fairly deep in left center, and Kingman is very deep in left. Cubs need a double play to get out of the jam. Burris from the stretch, 2-0 pitch, swung on, and a little pop-up that's going to drop into left center for a base hit, and here comes the lead run around. Kingman charging, picks up the ball, drops it. Boone scores as Cardinal dumps one into shallow left center field. It's 3-2 Philadelphia. Not a blazing line drive shot, but it got the job done. And Herman Franks calling time, coming out of the Cub dugout. Willie Hernandez has joined Donnie Moore in the Cub bullpen. That is the Phillies' 8th hit of the day off Ray Burris. They had taken the lead in the second inning on Gary Maddox's first home run of the season. Then the Cubs Not only tied it, but got the lead with some Philadelphia help with 2 runs in the third. A couple of errors in that inning. Had a golden opportunity to increase the lead in the 6th, but couldn't do it. And now, Hernandez is coming on to pitch. With the Phillies out in front 3-2, we have a delay in the action. Let's take time out for this message.
Downtown Delicatessen.
I'd like to order some sandwiches to pick up.
Okay.
2 Vienna corned beef sandwiches, 1 pastrami.
Excuse me, is that just plain corned beef on Vienna bread, or is it genuine Vienna brand corned beef on just any kind of bread?
Genuine Vienna brand corned beef.
Okay, 2 Vienna corned beef.
No bread.
No bread?
No bread.
Just Vienna corned beef, no bread?
No bread, just Vienna corned beef.
This is a sandwich?
It's a barefoot poor boy sandwich with just plenty of that incomparably tender, juicy, flavorful Vienna corned beef.
Okay, 2 Vienna corned beef, 1 Vienna pastrami sandwich, no bread. What's the name on that?
Vienna.
Thank you, Mr. Vienna.
Next time you want a really delicious corned beef or pastrami sandwich, with or without bread, visit your favorite delicatessen or food store displaying the Vienna name.
Ironically, Hernandez started his professional career with the Philadelphia Phillies. They had somebody else that they thought they could wanted to protect more than Willie a couple of years ago. He had gotten just a little bit wild that year in the minors, and they did not think that anybody would pick him up. But the Cubs have been keeping a close eye on him, and they got him. $25,000, the draft price. And the Phillies, that's one of the biggest mistakes that they have made, letting this young man get away. He's won 3, lost 1 this year for the Cubs. That's his 16th appearance of the season. Doesn't have a save yet. Earned run average 2.84. McBride stepping in. Jake takes the curve. It's into the dirt, ball 1. McBride led off the 6th inning with a triple. And with 1 away, came in on Mike Schmidt's sacrifice fly. That tied it up at that time. Now the Phillies have a 3-2 lead. Runners at first and second. Fastball and a swing and a miss. Ball 1, strike 1. McBride 1 for 3 here today. He'd be a tough man to double up Cardinal with a pinch hit little Texas League single out at first base. Down at second is Bud Harrelson. Hernandez looks at second, delivers. Ball that breaks and misses outside. Ball 2, strike 1 on McBride. They have 8 hits. The Cubs have 5. McBride with a close stance. Mercer playing him over into left center field. And Klein's way off the right field line. Hernandez ready. Lefty's pitch. McBride takes one into the dirt. Bounces away from Rader, but the runners are not able to advance as Dave had it bounce off his chest to his third base side on the foul line, and he retrieved it in a hurry. The runners have to hold. So it's ball 3, strike 1. At the end of the month of May, a year ago, the Cubs were in first place. The Phillies were in 4th. 3 games out. That was the end of the month of May a year ago. When the season ended, the Phillies were in first and the Cubs in 4th. A long 20 games away. 3-1 pitch. Bragg swings and he gets under it way out in front, and he hits a high foul. It's out of play. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Time call. Buckner coming over to talk to Hernandez with a count of 3-2 on this left-handed hitter. 1 out, Philadelphia runners at first and second. And they have themselves a 3-2 lead. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau here with you at Wrigley Field. We'll be here again tomorrow to close out the homestand. Then we'll be talking to you Friday night from St. Louis. Cardinals last night a loser to Montreal have dropped the 11 in a row. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, too low. The bases are loaded. Wouldn't chase it. Harrelson, now the base runner at third. Cardinal, the runner at second. McBride on at first base, and Larry Bowa, the batter. With Hernandez on the hill, Larry will bat right-handed. Came into this action with 10 hits in his last 20 at-bats. He's been their hottest hitter. Burris got him 3 times today. Hernandez delivers. There's a swing and a high fly ball. Kingman over to his left. It's hit deep. The runner's packing up. Dave comes in, makes the catch. Long throw to the plate. Bounces in, gets away from Rader. Backed up by Hernandez. Scoring on it is Harrelson. On a sacrifice fly as Larry Bowa drives in his 9th run of the year. A throw to the plate. The other runners move up to second and third, and Philadelphia now carries a 4-2 lead. And Herman Franks coming out of the dugout again. With 2 out, runners at second and third. He's had Donnie Moore throwing down there, and they have two right-handed hitters, Mike Schmidt and Greg Luzinski, due to bat. And Herman is going to make a couple of changes. Greg Gross is going in to play center field. And Bobby Mercer disappearing into the Cubs clubhouse. So we have a delay in the action while Donnie Moore becomes the new Cub pitcher. It's time to warm up. Let's take time out for this message.
You can avoid the ups and downs that you see in your gas bill throughout the year. Just get on the People's Gas Budget Payment Plan. Here's how the plan works to help you spread your gas costs evenly over 12 months. First, People's Gas will project your gas costs from the time you join the plan now till May or June of next year. Then we'll divide this total projected annual cost into equal monthly payments. You'll know what to allow in your budget each month for gas from now on, and you'll achieve a sensible balance between the high bills of the heating season and the low bills of the warm months. To get on the budget payment plan for the 78-79 season, call People's Gas at 431-7000 anytime from 8:15 a.m. to midnight, Tuesday through Friday. That number again is 431-7000. Join now, and you'll have a full 12 months in which to spread your annual gas costs into the smallest monthly payments possible.
Mercer had made the last out in the 6th inning, wrapping into that double play. But Donnie Moore will bat in Mercer's spot in the batting order, the number 6 position. Greg Gross, the new center fielder, will hit in the 9th spot. Philadelphia runners at second and third with 2 away. And Mike Schmidt, who singled his first 2 times up today, then drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 6th to tie it up, is going to be the batter. This for Donnie is his 20th appearance of the year. He's been in more games than any other Cub pitcher. 1-2, no losses, has 4 saves. Suter leads the club with 5. Schmidt swings in the first pitch on a high foul. Is going to be back out of play. Mike, officially against the Cubs this year, 10 hits and 15 at-bats. And today, officially, he's 2 for 2 with a run batted in. Oh, quick wrist. Looks at that pitch to strike a fastball, a good one. He's a little upset with himself. He couldn't pull the trigger on it. He leads the Phillies with 27 runs batted in right now. Donnie in the windup. Looks at Cardinal. Comes to the plate. Schmidt goes after the fastball around the letters. Fouls it back out of play. Or his run average could be a whole lot lower, except there was one bad outing he had, and that was against this ball club over at Philadelphia. He was charged on there on a sacrifice, but came in to pick it up. To throw to third. Unfortunately, third baseman wasn't there. Johnny hollered to throw to third by Dave Rader. And it really unnerved him. He got a block of runs off it. This is a little low with that one. Ball one, strike two. Woody Fryman, left-hander, throwing in the Cub bullpen, along with Paul Russell. From the windup with 2 out, 2 on, the 1-2 pitch. Fastball just misses low. 2-2. Philadelphia, 2 runs here in the 7th inning to unlock the 2-2 tie. Cubs' 2 runs came in the 3rd, and the Phillies gave the Cubs a little help in that inning. Wind up 2-2 delivery, and Schmidt swings at a hard ground ball to DeJesus, is going to retire the side. Here's the peg to Buckner, and that's it. Thought he gets the job done, getting a very dangerous hitter, Mike Schmidt. They have 2 runs, 3 hits in the inning, a walk, and 2 men left on. Time for the 7th inning stretch at Wrigley Field. Steve Olivares to lead off for the Cubs. It's Philadelphia 4, the Cubs 2.
The gallant band of old, we make our buying a pleasure again.
When you buy a car, how do you want a salesman to treat you? A little respect? A little dignity? Should the salesman be helpful, informative, polite, courteous? All these things? Well, your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers aren't perfect, but every day they're trying to make buying an Oldsmobile as pleasurable as owning one. And how? Well, with the attitude of warmth and confidence in their product. Confidence in Oldsmobile. You gallant men of old believe in building a long-term relationship with a customer, and that means the type of sincerity and honesty that puts people at ease. It's why you'll feel comfortable in an Oldsmobile showroom. So visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Find out how they can make car buying a pleasure for you.
So many school groups out here. They've come up with some pretty doggone good banners. Warren Brewster, one of the fine young relievers in the business, going on the hill now. Cott, you recall, was taken out for pinch hitter Jose Cardinal. Seniors of the 8th grade patrol, but I can't see the name of the school. A long, long banner. Multicolored, green, blue, red. Wishing good luck to the Cubs. Olivares stepping in. Brewster's first pitch, and the young right-hander misses high. Ball 1. Been bothered with a bit of a sore side. Let me tell you, he's allowed only 1 earned run in his last 8 outings. Here's a swing and a high fly ball to the center fielder. Maddox racing over, makes the belt high catch in straightaway center. Olivares is retired, and that will bring up Rader. Brewster's earned run average for the year, 2.25. No wins, no losses, no saves. Struck out 12 men, and now he's worked a total of 16 innings with that out off the bat of Olivares. Rader takes the first pitch, a strike, a fastball. It is big and strong. Brustar. Winds delivered. Fastball swung on. Grounds it to the second baseman, Harrelson. He charges in, makes the pickup. 2 gone. And that'll bring to bat for the first time today. Greg Gross came in to play center field in the top of this inning. Greg batting .319 for the year with a homer and a dozen runs batted in. And an awfully good series against St. Louis. Was 5 for 13 against the Birds here, and the Cubs swept that 3-gamer. Drove in a couple of runs. Left-handed hitter. Outfield way around to the left and very shallow for him. He took first pitch for a strike. Luzinski can't be more than 15 feet off the left field line, and Maddox is way over. Comes over the top of the pitch, swung on, and he grounds it down to Jay Johnstone, the first baseman, for an easy, unassisted put-out. So Brewster makes short work of the Cubs in the bottom of the seventh, puts them down in order. At the end of 7 at Wrigley Field, the Phillies come to bat, and they still lead 4-2.
I need lead-free gas. How do I know which one's a good one?
I always go with the #1 brand. I paid a lot of money for this car. I want a great lead-free gasoline for it.
I'm a standard dealer. What I tell my customers is that today's new cars run on lead-free fuel, but they don't all run the same way on it. So we standard dealers give you a lead-free choice. Our lead-free Amoco in the Blue Pump is the Midwest's best-selling lead-free. Ever since the lead-free age began, lead-free Amoco has been preferred by new car buyers. And now there's a second lead-free Amoco gasoline. Higher octane Amoco premium lead-free in the Gold Pump. It's designed for cars old and new that need higher octane to run the way they should.
You get a choice at Standard.
I like that Amoco in the Blue Pump. Amoco Premium's great.
See your independent standard dealer near you and get his lead-free choice. You expect more from a leader.
The ball, Greg Luzinski, is to lead off for Philadelphia here in the 8th inning. One of the very fine sports writers the city ever had, and we're happy and proud to say, sportscaster with us many, many years, the late Wendell Smith. Reminded of him because here today, from the Wendell Smith Elementary School, the Patrol Boys basketball team and cheerleaders. Welcome to them. Luzinski takes Donnie Moore's fastball in too tight to this big right-hander. Ball 1. A lot of his family, including his sister, out here today to watch him work. 1-0 delivery. Swung on. Big cut, and he got under it and fouled it back out of play. Was quite a catcher in his high school days. Moore's next pitch, and he swings on this one. It's a high foul down the right field line. Souvenir back into the deep boxes. Ball 1, strike 2 on Luzinski. Reached once today on a base on balls. Is 0 for 2 officially. The pitch, checks his swing and hits his bat and comes back foul out of play. 1-2. Cincinnati with a come from behind victory today over Atlanta to even up their series. They won it 5-4. A half game behind the Giants at this moment. Johnny with the let up. It's too low. Ball 2, strike 2. The Giants were the only contender of the 3 in the Western Division supposed to win last night. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Good fastball. Luzinski strikes out to open up the top of the 8th. Burris pitched well here today. So did Jim Cott. Jay Johnstone stepping in. He is 0 for 3. Left-hander, looks like he had a notion to butt, and he takes the ball inside. Late starter in the Phillies lineup because Hebner became ill. We've seen very little action so far this year. Donnie winds, the right-hander's pitch. Jay swings, and he went all the way around trying to get a hold of that one down around his knees. He spun like a top in there. That levels it at 1-1. Here's the windup, and he takes. That's a ball low and inside. 2-1. Under Jack McKeon, the Oakland A's lost last night. Johnstone swing, puts a high fly ball. Should be hauled in. Wilson center is there with the glasses down. Makes the catch. 2-way. Milwaukee defeated Oakland 3-2. Well, California defeated the White Sox out on the West Coast last night. So the A's lead over California has shriveled to a game. They lead Kansas City, which split last night by 3.5. And they lead the Texas Rangers by 4. Those 3 all figure to be solid contenders for that Western Division this year. California, Kansas City, and Texas. Right-hander in the batter's box, Gary Maddox. He swings and he dumps one into center field. Little Texas League single for Maddox, who got the Phillies on the board back in the second inning with his first home run of the year. He keeps them alive here in the eighth, and the Cubs are going to have to keep an eye on him. He has 9 stolen bases in 11 attempts. Moore had retired the first 3 Phillies he faced. Bryant goes long, legs pretty good lead, doesn't go. Right-hander in the batter's box. Boone swings, pops one foul, maybe a play on a Bears near the dugout. He has it right in front of the Cub dugout to retire the side. No runs, 2-out single, 1 man left. Now let's see if the Cubs can go to work against Warren Brewster. It'll be the top of the batting order up. Philadelphia still leading 4-2.
Hello, General Finance, friendly Bob Adams.
Hi, Bob. This is John Bozek, and boy, do I need a travel loan.
Well, we'll get right to work on it, John. Where are you going?
To Paris, Bob, to meet my girlfriend.
Ooh, France is very romantic.
She's not in France, Bob. I've already been there.
I thought you said Paris.
I did, Bob, but she must have meant Paris, Kentucky.
Oh, I see.
Or Paris, Michigan.
Well,
there's also a Paris in Arkansas, Idaho, Illinois, Maine, Mississippi, and Missouri.
My goodness, I had no idea.
New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas.
John?
And Virginia.
That's a lot of traveling. I better rush that loan.
Oh, thanks, Bob, because as soon as I find her, we're going to get married in Portland.
Maine?
There's one in Oregon, too, Bob.
Uh-oh.
And Connecticut, Indiana, North Dakota,
When
Ohio.
you need financial assistance, General Finance has a plan to fit your needs.
Find out why it makes sense to call General Finance for their person-to-person Bob Adams service. General Finance has the professional experience and the particular plan for your particular need. There are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices, so call General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 32020. Also an office in Mundelein.
Tomorrow, in the final game of the homestand, Rick Russell is scheduled to pitch for the Cubs. And Steve Carlton is the probable mound choice for Danny Ozark and the Phillies. That ends the homestand. Ivan de Jesus, leading off the 8th inning, reached on Schmidt there in the 3rd, got as far as 2nd when the ball wound up in the Philly dugout. And he came in from 3rd on Buckner's sacrifice fly. Vaughn looks, and Brewster's first pitch to right-hander misses with a fastball away. Here's the wind-up the pitch. Swung on and a ground ball to the shortstop. Low to his right has it. De Jesus is out by a step on a quick throw over to first. Gary Martin has replaced Luzinski in left field for the Phillies. A move that Danny Ozark makes often. Gene Klein's the hitter. There are singles, including a bunt his first 2 times up, but then was retired by Jim Cott in the 5th on a fly ball to the center fielder, Gary Maddox, who plays him shallow and straight away. Brewster winds, the fastball, in for a strike. Kid is really a hard thrower, isn't he, Lou?
Yes, he's come a long ways in 1 year.
Sure has. Over the top of that pitch, it's a little bit low away. The ball seems to move all the time. 26 years of age, born out in Oakland. He's big and strong, 6'3", about 200. With a swing and a mess up, looks like a slider to him. 1-2. Phillies drafted him in January of '74. Eddie Bachman, one of their fine scouts, had signed him. 1-2 pitch. William went after a bat when he swung and missed strike 3 on a pitch. Appeared to be almost into the dirt. 2 gone. Brewster has faced 5 Cubs and retired 5. Let's see if Buckner can get on. Drove in his 12th run of the year with a sacrifice fly in the 3rd, and then he led off the 6th inning with a single. Got to 2nd on a wild pitch, and things were looking up. The game was tied at that time, 2-2. Kingman drew a walk. But Trio, in a sacrifice attempt, forced Buckner at 3rd. And the next hitter, Bobby Mercer, bounced into a double play started by the pitcher, Jim Cott. First pitch to Buck is a strike. Right-hander delivers a fastball outside. 1-1. Big and strong, about 6'3", 200. time is called. The ball had gotten away from the Philadelphia bullpen crew. Got into foul territory over near the first base line, and Paul Pryor, the third base umpire, saw it. Immediately hollered time to get that out of the way. Could suffer a serious injury. A little hot foul or something and stepping on that ball. 1-1 pitch swung on, and a drive into left center field. Hit well. Maddox on the run. It's off the vine. Gets away from him. The left fielder Martin picks it up, and Buckner goes into second with a stand-up double to the right of the 368-foot mark. Hard hit shot. His 7th two-base hit of the year. Here's a guy that could tie it up with one swing of the bat. Dave Kingman. Cubs had 5 hits off Jim Cott in 6 innings of work. That double by Buckner, his 2nd hit of the day, and the Cubs' 7th of the afternoon. Brewster into the stretch. Here's the pitch. Tries to hold up on his swing at a fastball, and he held up in time. A little high, ball 1. Bruce Sutter throwing in the Cub bullpen along with Paul Russell. Boy, what a shift they've got on for him. 3 men on the left side of the infield, all 3 outfielders way over, and there's a big swing and a miss. Ball 1, strike 1. Kingman is fan, popped up, and been on with a walk. Brewster looks like he's got about a half pound of chewing tobacco. Looks a little bit nervous. Now he's into the stretch. 1-1 delivery. Swung on a miss. Came right over the top with that one. Last year with the Phillies, Brewster was 7-2 with a fine earned run average of 2.66. His first year up. 1-2 pitch. Swung on. Bouncing ball deep in the hole. Backhanded. So a long throw, and he's got him to retire the side. Buckner is left stranded, and for the Cubs in the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Phillies come to bat at Wrigley Field. At the end of 8 innings of play, they lead 4-2.
Wouldn't it be great if all you had to do to help your tomato plants grow was water them? True Value Hardware stores are offering tomato guard fencing that eliminates the bother and work of staking and tying each plant. That means most of the hard work is taken out of the growing process. Just put 48-inch high tomato guard fencing around your tomatoes when you plant them for all the support they need to reach lush, ripe maturity. And each 30-foot roll of tomato guard fencing from your True Value Hardware store is enough to cage 6 plants. So this year, take most of the bother and work out of planting tomatoes with tomato guard fencing from participating True Value Hardware stores. Don't forget to tell them that Pat Summerall sent you.
Floyd and Lou Boudreau here at Wrigley Field. We're going into the 9th inning, and Donnie Moore facing Bud Harrelson. Bottom part of their batting order. Harrelson playing at second base with Ted Sizemore still out of there with a cast on that broken hand. Harrelson singled and scored in the 7th inning. Tries to bunt the first one, gets it right near the mound. Donnie Moore picks it up, throws to Buckner, and there's 1 away. Here's big young pitcher Warren Brewster. If the Phillies hold on to this lead, the win would go to Jim Cott. It would be his 2nd of the year, and both against the Cubs. Brewster goes after the first pitch, rolls one down to Tony Taylor, the coach at first base. Struck 1 count. I want to remind you that the Cubs, among the many items that they have that make good souvenirs, the beautiful picture of the ball club, 14 by 11. Fastball by Moore is down low, 1-1. A little bigger than a team picture they've had in the past. Individual shots that Headshots of all the guys with their autographs reproduced on them. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball in his eyes. A magnificent print. Who's the manager, of course, Herman Franks, and his coaching staff, in addition to all the players. 1-2 pitch. Brewster slaps a foul ball off the brick wall on the first base side. You can not only frame it, just keep it the way it is. And to get this picture, send your name and address along with $1 to Team Picture, Wrigley Field, Chicago. Or his next one, Blow and Away. 2-2 now. The zip code 60613 and add 25 cents per order for postage and handling. If you order one picture, send a total of $1.25. If you order half a dozen, send 6 1/4. 2-2 delivery, and Brewster goes to right field, and he dumps one inside the line for a base hit. Fine's coming over, bounces up the wall. The ball gets away from him. Brewster going into second. Fines retrieves the ball and gets it into Trio. And he really hit hard off that foam rubber padding. I'd be surprised, Lou, if he didn't hurt himself a little bit on that one.
Yes, he hit that ball quite hard.
Brewster going down the right field line with that shot. And as it hit and went into foul territory, Kleins came over in a hurry trying to cut it off and hold him to a single. But he bounced off the foam rubber covering on that wall, the padding. Ball got away from him, and Brewster is on at second with one away. It'll be his first hit of the year. Here is McBride swinging and sending the center fielder. Gross back deep. Look out. He staggers, makes the catch against the lines, and wheels the throw in a hurry. A great recovery by Gross, who lost his footing out there after turning one way and then wanting to go another. And he came doggone near losing it completely, but he stayed with it, stuck the glove out, and made a very, very fine catch. They're 2 away. Here's Boa. Garber getting up and going down to the Philadelphia bullpen now. He swings, gets under it, hits a high pop foul. Rader with the mask off, chases it. Forget it. Back into the box seats, about 3 seats. Or 3 rows. Strike 1 count on Boa. Batted in a run in that 7th inning with a sacrifice fly. And they are leading here 4-2 in the 9th with 2 outs. Moore in relief delivers. Boa swings, slaps a ground ball foul down the third base side. Paul Pryor, veteran umpire there. 17th year for him in the majors. Another great veteran behind the plate, Ed Fargo. His 19th year. And the rookie, Charlie Williams, on this crew, working at first base. Runner at second with 2 gone in the 9th, 0-2 pitch. Boa hops one up, and Trio is under it on the outfield grass. Manny shades his eyes, makes the catch behind second, and Betts retires his side. No runs, a hit. Phillies leave 1 man on. The Cubs come to bat for their last shot in this first game of the series. Phillies 4 and the Cubs 2.
When you brew a beer in God's country, you begin with sparkling, pure Wisconsin spring water. Water that flows deep beneath the ground. Then you pure brew, double brew it in a traditional old world way called krausening. Krausening is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Most expensive because it takes more time. But Heileman's Old Style is one American premium beer that is still fully krausened, naturally carbonated. Because at Old Style, we don't aim to make the most beer, only the best. Taste the difference krausening makes. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. G. Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
After Kingman grounded out in the 8th inning to retire the side and leave Buckner stranded, lot of the folks headed for the exits. They figured that was the Cubs' last real good shot at him. One of the fellows who stayed is Jim Jedick. Trio to lead off against the strong-armed right-hander, Warren Brewster. And before Trio steps in, let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is the WGN Radio Chicago.
Manny 0 for 3 today. Tried to sacrifice in the 6th inning when the Cubs had a real good shot. Runners at first and second, nobody out. The game was tied at 2. But he bunted on the first base side of the mound. Johnstone, the first baseman, charged in, made a good pickup, pegged to third base, forced the lead runner, Buckner. And then Mercer ended that inning on the next pitch, grounding into a double play. And that threat died. And died in a hurry. First pitch to him is a ball. Brewster in the windup. Here's the delivery. Trio takes. It's a little low. 2-0. None of these kids have left. They still have hope. Here's the windup, the delivery. He'll take one, and it's into the dirt and bounces all the way back to the backstop. Ball 3. If he gets on, Larry Fittner is standing in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Donnie Moore. The pinch hit anyway. 3-0 delivery, he'll take. And it's in there. Ball 3, strike 1. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau with you, and we'll be here again tomorrow, the last day of the homestand. Be at St. Louis Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, then at Montreal Monday night for the first of a 3-gamer up there at Olympic Stadium. 3-1 pitch. The Trio looks, strike call. It's a little close. Fargo gave the call to the young right-hander, Warren Brewster, and the count is full on Trio, and he's now got to protect the plate. Waited till Manny got reset. Now the windup, 3-2 pitch. Humps one low for ball 4. He gets the walk. Brewster came on at the start of the 7th inning after the Phillies had rallied to take the lead, and now Larry Fittner stepping in. He is 4 for 11 as a pinch hitter and has batted in 5 runs as a pinch batter with 4 hits. Paid attendance today, 17,901. And a total in the house at Wrigley Field of 18,688. Nobody out. First pitch, Fittner, a swing and a bouncing foul back out of play. Larry hitting .261 for the year with 2 homers and 10 runs batted in for the season. And 5 of those RBIs have come as a pinch hitter. Stretched by Brewster, outside, ball 1, strike 1. Nobody out. Runner at first base. 4-2 Philadelphia. The stretch, the pitch. Takes a strike over the outside corner, and he darts a quick look back at plate umpire Vargo. He thought the pitch was outside. Now he's in the hole with a count of 1-2. Maddox way over in the left center for him. Here's the pitch. That's outside and high. Ball 2, strike 2. With McBride so far off the right field line. If he's able to pull one, it'll only be because of a pitching mistake. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, ground ball. Bullet to his left. He's got it. Tosses to Harrelson. The relay in time for the Phillies' second double play of the ball game, and that one really hurts. He does miss getting it up the middle. Six to 4-3. That just about does it. 1 out left for the Cubs, and Steve Olivares the batter. Fittner grounding into a double play. Brewster delivers. Fastball. Missed outside. So the Cubs will not be able to leave home in first place. They needed to sweep these 2 games to do that. 1-0 delivery. Unless, with the 1 out left, they can still come up with a little minor miracle and pull this one out. That pitch is a ball too low. Wind up the pitch. He'll take. And it's a strike. 2-1. Garber ready in their bullpen if they need him, and he's been sensational. 2-1 pitch. Swung on it. Drive down the left field line. In for a base hit. Martin cutting it off. The Cubs are still alive. Boy, Lou, how those two double plays have hurt, huh?
That's a part of the ball game that's tough to take when they go against you, but they're nice to have them on your side.
2, the one back in the 6th inning, and the Cubs had the first 2 men reach. But nothing came of it. Now a walk in this inning, and then a double play ball, and now a single, and Dave Rader. Let's see if he can keep it alive. Brewster's first pitch, the left-hander takes it. It's a ball outside of the letters. Greg Gross in the on-deck circle. 1-0 Jitterbee. Swung on, bouncing ball through the right side, and in there for a hit. Oliveris holds at second base. As Jake McBride picks it up in very shallow right field. Rader, a bouncer through the right side. A walk in the inning. That's the second hit. 2 gone, and Greg Gross stepping in. He came into play center field in the 7th inning. Skipper Herman Franks made a pitching change. Gross grounded out in the 7th. First pitch to him. Rocky had a note in the butt, and it's a strike. We may have a pinch runner here. Here he comes. Rudy Mioli is now coming out of the dugout to run for Raiders. A strike 1 count on Oliveris. That's the big man down there at first, Mioli. Oliveris is second, 2 away, and a strike 1 pitch coming up. Gross swings, drive down the left field line, Kirby, base hit. Here comes Oliveris to score. I'm Alfredo waving Mioli to the plate. He's going to score the tying run. Here goes Gross to third. He's in with a triple. It is 4-4 on Gross's 2-run triple. His 5th triple of the year. Wrigley Field is going wild. Standing at Wrigley Field, let me tell you, those fans who left early have got to be kicking themselves. Just when it looked like it might be all ended. A walk, a double play. But Oliveris kept him alive. A base hit. Dave Rader bounced one through the right side to keep it going. And now Greg Gross lining an opposite field triple. And that will be it for Warren Brewster. But the Cubs have rallied to triumph. They have the winning run at third. And the bearded right-hander Gene Garber will be the new Philadelphia pitcher when we come back after this message.
64 years ago, in 1914, a new era in transportation began for America. That was the year the first ship passed through the Panama Canal. There was transportation history being made in 1914 in the tire industry, too. That was the year the first Cooper passenger tire was made. Today, 64 years later, Cooper tires are still being made in Findlay, Ohio, with the latest technological advances and plenty of old-fashioned craftsmanship. In fact, the Findlay people who build Cooper tires think so much of them that they put their names right on them. So a Cooper is known as the tire with 2 names, the company and the man who builds it. When you see your Cooper dealer, you know you're getting a quality tire for less than a top price. See your Cooper dealer soon.
The Major Motor Tire and Supply, 1000 West 63rd Street, Chicago. Municipal Tire Company, 1811 South Wabash in Chicago.
A trademark of a good ball club, a contending ball club, is that they are able to come from behind. And the Cubs have done that repeatedly already this year, and they have just thrilled this crowd of well over 18,000 with this ninth inning rally. And all of the big damage occurring to the Phillies after two men were out. The bases were empty. Now Garber trying to prevent the Cubs from capturing a victory here in the ninth. He is facing DeJesus. Wheels delivers sidearm pitch in for a strike. And when he wheels, he shows his back to the batter. Garber, one earned run in the last 9 games in which he's been in. Takes the pitch. DeJesus takes the ball low and inside, 1-1. Taveras is single, Rader is single, Mioli in to run for Rader, and Gross with his 5th triple of the year. Driving at his 13th and 14th runs has tied it. Gross now with a winning run at third, and DeJesus the hitter. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on, bounces one, foul down the third base side. A one-hopper. But whatever happened, the Cubs again have not given up. They lost a couple of one-sided ball games at Philadelphia, 7-0, 12-2. And they won one over there on Bobby Mercer's grand slammer, 4-2. Well, Burris pitched pretty well here today. It's off the hook. Can't be the winner, but he will not be charged with a loss. Jim Cott was not going to pick up a victory. Robert trying to hold him in. Wheels, 1-2 pitch. Strike, 3, call. We'll have an extra inning ball game. DeJesus is caught looking. Cubs tie it, 2 runs, 3 base hits, the big blow. Greg Gross's 5th triple of the year. And the Cubs are getting a standing ovation.
I figured they were delicious. This is McDonald's.
I'll have some.
I'll have some.
Get ready to slide.
McDonald's hash browns, crisp and golden on the outside, tender on the inside.
Just like our world-famous fries.
But still funny looking.
So don't eat breakfast.
Here we are for you.
Bruce Sutter, as his name is announced by Jimmy Enright in the public address system, gets a tremendous hand from the crowd. He is the new pitcher. Larry Cox, the new catcher. Vince Floyd, and here is Lou Boudreau. Lou? Very unusual things happening at Wrigley Field. This is not termed a triple ballpark. It's more as a double ballpark. But yet, Gross, getting his 5th triple of the year, tied up this ball game. Here's Suter's first pitch to Smith. Strike call. Martin did not play Gross's hit as a defensive outfielder. 1-1 to count on Smith. He let the ball get beyond him after it hit into the bullpen. With a tying run on third, an outfielder must keep the ball in front of him. But Martin let the ball get beyond him. It went through the bullpen to the wall, which enabled Mioli, the pinch runner, to score the tying run. Now it's up to Bruce Sutter. 1-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball on Taveras' left. DeJesus behind on Taveras makes the play. A beautiful play by DeJesus, who was behind on Taveras, playing Smith into the hole at deep short. And look at Smith look around to DeJesus. I wouldn't want to repeat what's going through his mind. Taveras dove for the ball. It was that close to him. And yet DeJesus behind him makes the play. 1 out. Here's Martin, who replaced Lazinski for defensive purposes. First pitch, swing and a miss on that knuckle curveball. 4-4 ball game. It's up to the Cubs bullpen chief Suter right now. 1-1 to count on Martin. This is Martin's first time at bat. He's hitting .283, 2 home runs, 11 RBI. Swing and a tap foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in extra innings. We're in the 10th inning. Cubs have won 4 extra inning games while dropping 2. 1-run decisions. Cubs have won 8, losing 7. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Line drive, and off of the glove of Olivares to Jesus has it. He's out. 2 fantastic plays here by the Cubs shortstop. That ball was hit sharply that Olivares was left. It went off of his glove, rolled back of him, and there was De Jesus. Number 11 picked it up, fired to Buckner, and Martin is out. 2 fantastic plays here in the top of the 10th. 2 out. Well, let me tell you, 2 baseballs hit very hard off Suter's pitches. Here's a swing and a miss. Strike 1 by Johnstone. Fouled out of play, strike 2. Credit Olivares with an assist. Martin thrown out, 5-6-3. World Series contest going on here against the Phillies and the Cubs. The pitch. Strike 3. Johnstone strikes out. The Phillies go down 1-2-3 in the 10th inning, and a standing ovation for the Cubs. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. Top of the 10th. Now we move to the bottom of the 10th, and all the Cubs need is 1 run. It will be Klein, Buckner, and Kingman. Score, Cubs 4, Philadelphia 4.
The Cubs and the Bulls, we make our minds a pleasure again.
Hey, kid, you want a lift?
Wow. Brand new Cutlass. Really moving up in the world, aren't we, Al?
Well, after that crummy winter we just went through, I wanted to buy myself a new car, something with style, a car I could enjoy.
Yeah, well, I bet you didn't enjoy going through the hassle of buying it.
Au contraire, mon ami. We're talking about the gallant men of old. So I had a good time buying this car. No hassles, no pressure, and the selection they have for spring, the colors, the options. It was really a pleasure.
Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Find out how we can make car buying a pleasure for you.
We make our buying a pleasure again. The Dallas and the Bulls. We make our buying a pleasure again. The Dallas and the Bulls. We make.
10th inning. The Cubs will send Kleins, Buckner, and Kingman. We're all tied up, 4-4. Garver on the mound, little right-hander who twists completely around, shows the batter his back, his number, and then comes back and releases the ball. He hides the ball quite well. Very difficult to pick up that ball from Garver's delivery. The pitch, strike called as he sidearms right-handed hitters. The pitch declines outside, 1-1 to count. It's between Garver and Suter right now. 1-1 pitch declines, swing and a ground ball foul past the dugout. One ball, 2 strikes. Garver's ready. Wind up and pitch. Sidearm pitch. Foul ball down the third base line. Just missing the bag. Oh, let me tell you, that was close. Just missing the bag. And Pryor calls it foul. The count remains 1-2. Garver looks around to his outfield. Now he's ready. Leans in, gets his sign from Boone. Here's the pitch on the way. Fly ball left field. Martin is there, moving to his left. He has it, 1 out. 1 away, and now here's Buckner, who has 2 for 3 today. A single and a double his last 2 appearances at the plate. Some great defensive plays here in this ball game. First pitch to Buckner. Fastball turns him around at the plate. Ball 1. It was Gross's 2-run triple in the 9th inning with 2 outs to tie up this ball game. Buckner takes low, ball 2. Smith guarding that left field line at third, even though Buckner's a left-handed hitter. Swinging a ground ball to second baseman. Harrelson bobbles the ball, picks it up, throws the first in time. Fortunately for Harrelson, after he bobbled it, it was right at his feet. Now here's Kingman, who can end it all with 1 swing of the bat. Cubs 4, Phillies 4, 2 outs, 10th inning. Kingman at bat. Smith, the third baseman, guards that third base line. I don't believe I've ever seen a center fielder play Kingman where Maddox does. He plays him practically in left center. First pitch, strike 1. Garver with that twisting delivery and sidearms, all right-handed hitter. He's ready. He's into the windup. Here's the pitch to Kingman. Swing and a miss, and he just got under that one. 0-2 the count. If Kingman could hit one on the end of his bat down to the right field corner, he could run all week. And this game would be over. Right fielder McBride is practically playing straightaway center field. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Kingman. Swings and fouls that ball off as he reached far outside for it. Cubs 4, Phillies 4, the first contest of a shortened 2-game series. If the Cubs could win this one, they would take over first place in the Eastern Division. The pitch on its way. Swing and a tap foul right into the first row of box seats adjacent to the Cubs dugout. 0-2 the count on Kingman, who's up there swinging, trying to go for that long ball to end this contest. Garver leans in, gets a sign. 3 infielders between second base and third base. Here's the pitch. High pop-up. Foul territory. Near the Cubs dugout. It is out of play. Kingman gets another chance. Dave isn't taking many pitches up there. If he can reach for one, whether it's high or outside, he doesn't want to be called out on strikes. He wants to have his ripples, and he does. One mistake here by Garver, and we can all go home. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Garver came up and over that time. Now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kingman couldn't reach it. The 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Swing and a pop-up near the Phillies dugout. First baseman John Stone is there. Reaches over. He does not make the play. Almost reaches over a couple of fans to make a very fine defensive play, but he missed. So Kingman is still alive. So is the Cubs. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Kingman taking his time now as he steps in the batter's box. Now he levels the bat over the plate. Garver is ready. He's into the windup. 1-2 pitch. It hits him. It hit Kingsman in the back and hit him solidly as he walks down to first base. Tony Garofalo comes out, checks Kingman out. Garver wanted to get that ball inside as he was pitching away from Kingman. And Kingman just turns into that pitch. Now here's Trio at bat. Kingman with the winning run on first base, 2 outs. Trio is overdue. He's 0 for 3. Garver into the stretch. The pitch. Hey, there's one hit deep to left field. Hey, kiss it goodbye. Cubs win, 6-4. Little Manny Trio hits one deep into the left center field bleachers with Kingman on base with 2 outs. The Cubs win 6-4. Trio's first home run for 1978. He's greeted by all the Cubs at home plate. We'll be right back with a wrap-up with the Cubs winning 6-4.
Hello, General Finance. Friendly Bob Adams speaking.
Steve Doorman here, Bob. You loaned me some money to get married 6 months ago.
Right, Steve. How are things working out for the newlyweds?
Just great, Bob.
Something the matter, Steve?
Well, I came home early one day last week. I caught her.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Steve.
There they were, all there, under the bed.
I'm not quite following you, Steve.
I caught her hiding the bills we've received for the last 6 months.
Still not reading you, Steve. Why don't you spell it out?
Well, she wanted to show me how far she could stretch $1, so...
Oh, she hid the bills.
Right, Bob, and now I owe...
Oh, 6 months worth of bills.
Right, Bob.
Well, dry your eyes, Steve. A consolidation loan will take care of those bills. And remember, you can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance.
Come out from under the bed, Audrey.
70 General Finance, Chicago area offices to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 32020. Also an office in Kankakee. You talk about a celebration. They're having it at Wrigley Field right now. We got to pause before we bring you wrap-up on the ball game for station identification. And you can hear this crowd still standing and hooping it up after a brilliant and thrilling and exciting come-from-behind victory to vault into first place in the National League Eastern Division. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
We had a lot of excitement out here about a year ago, Lou, when the Cubs on a weekend knocked off the Pittsburgh Pirates and moved into first place. Well, let me tell you, when you come from behind to win one like the Cubs did today, and to do it in such a fashion, the inning kept alive back in the ninth after what seemed like a heartbreaking double play. 3 successive hits, and a big one grosses 5th triple of the year to tie it. And then in the 9th inning, after the first 2 batters are retired, Dave Kingman, battling in the batter's box, was in the hole. Garver flunked him with a pitch, and Manny Trio, first home run of the year to win it. Let me tell you, they're going to be buzzing in Chicago for a long time after this one, huh? I don't believe I've seen the Cub fans stand up and give a cheer when that W flag goes up on the yard arm out there. And that's what they're doing. They're just sitting around, standing around here. They're going to talk about that one for a few moments. But it was a great victory. And let me tell you, the Cubs fought back from a 2-run deficit to come out on top. And this should be a great thing insofar as for the Cubs to have momentum from here on in.
Suter gets the victory. Garber is tagged for the loss. And for Bruce, it's his fourth win against 2 defeats. And for Gene Garber, who had allowed only 1 earned run in the last 9 games in which he had appeared. It's covered almost 18 innings of work. And actually threw 18 innings after getting De Jesus to look at strike 3 in the 9th that had finished 18 innings without an earned run. And then went 2/3 of an inning without giving up 1. All of a sudden, the balloon went up.
Let me
and he
tell
is
you.
charged with his first loss of the year.
I think Danny Ozark and Garber and the rest of the Phillies took a deep breath when he hit Kingman.
Yeah.
Because here's a man who was bearing down at the plate. Here's a man that percentages are, if he gets a hole in one, or if Garber just makes a mistake, which Kingman did have one great swing at a high pitch.
Yes, he did.
And they hit him to get him on. There might have been a little relaxation in both Garber and the Phillies. Now, I say that nobody's going to relax. It's just to toss the ball over the plate. But this is an odd game, a funny game. Things like that will happen.
He's the guy that you think can beat you with one swing of the bat. You know that Manny Creo's the kind of a guy who's going to get a lot of base hits against you, but you don't look for him to hit one out of the ballpark on you.
Yeah, and little Trio was a pussycat until that inning.
Yeah.
Then he became a tiger.
He sure did. And it was a really heartwarming victory. Down by 2 runs with 2 out and nobody on in the 9th inning. Hyatt in that ninth. And then, with 2 out and nobody on in the 10th inning, wind up winning it and moving into first place.
Let me make one other comment. We talk about the Cubs bench all the time, and I get comments, what do you mean? That's what they're supposed to be on the bench. But here again, Gross is put in with a double switch in the 7th inning, and he's the one that keeps us alive with a triple in the 9th inning. So there again, it's ball players like that have an opportunity and take advantage of it when that time comes. And I know Herman Franks, as he mentioned to me several times, it's tough to keep everybody happy. I've got a lot of good ball players, but yet if they'll just stay with him and give him the best when he calls upon them, we're going to come out victorious in many, many games. And this is exactly what's happened on several occasions.
Let's not forget the move bringing Mioli in after the first pitch to Olivares. Mioli running for Dave Rader down there at first base. I don't think Rader could have scored on that one. Well, he might have. But certainly Mioli was not going to be shot down on it. And that, of course, tied it up. And the Cubs are winner. Now, Bruce Sutter continues this mastery over these Philadelphia Phillies. That's a story all in itself. Sutter, in 14 games in his career against Philadelphia, no earned runs. His record against them, 4-0. And 6 saves to go with the 4 wins. And he gets his 4th one here this afternoon, much to the delight of a paid crowd of 17,901. So the Cubs, who look like they were out of it insofar as moving into first place is concerned in this 2-game series, now are in first place by a half game over the Phillies. The Cubs have chalked up their 20th win of the season. And in head-to-head competition against Philadelphia now for the year, it's a standoff. Phillies have won 2 and the Cubs have won 2. And we'll have the final game of the homestand here tomorrow afternoon. Our broadcast today has been brought to us by your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers. Find out how the gallant men of old can make car buying a pleasure for you. General Finance's 70 Chicagoland offices. And you know, to borrow up to $10,000, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call friendly Bob Adams at Andover 3-2020. True Value Hardware Stores. That's not just a name. It's their way of doing business. The G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. McDonald's, where you can buy a hot fudge, hot caramel, or strawberry sundae in a special reusable glass. For those of you in Chicago, on the scoreboard in just a moment, we'll have some of the highlights of this exciting ball game today, including, of course, that game-winning homer. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau hope you can make it out to Wrigley Field tomorrow afternoon. That should be a honey of a ball game. The probable matchups on the mound, Rick Russell for the Cubs, seeking his 5th win of the year against Steve Carlson, the veteran left-hander, who also will be trying for his 5th win of the season. The Cubs are winner in 10 innings on Manny Triel's first home run of the year. The Cubs win it 6-4. Don Albert, our engineer, Jack Benovich, our producer. Hope you enjoyed it. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago. It's rare, but it's beautiful when it happens. You can probably count on one hand the number of times it's happened to you. You find exactly what you always look for in a pair of shoes. They're smart looking and incredibly comfortable. They're Freeman Freeflex shoes now at O'Connor and Goldberg. As soon as you slip into your feet into a pair of these, you'll notice a difference right away. Enjoy the easy comfort of the soft all-leather lining and suede leather outsole. Luxuriate in premium calfskin. Freeman pampers your feet with only the finest quality leather. They're so supple that they don't need to be broken in. You can actually take a brand new Freeflex shoe right out of the box and press the toe down on the shell of a raw egg. The sole bends, but the egg won't break. It's hard to believe shoes this comfortable can make your feet look so good. OG has Freeman Freeflex shoes in brown or black from $52.98. Why not stop in at O'Connor and Goldberg soon and try on a pair of Freeflex shoes by Freeman? You won't want to take them off.
Hi, everybody. Vince Lloyd back with you at beautiful Wrigley Field. You talk about a happy, happy crowd. And one of the good things about this one today, you know, there's so many school kids out here today, from elementary schools and from high schools. Many of them are able to get the afternoon off to be out at the ballpark. And what a wonderfully exciting ball game they had an opportunity to see. And I'd mentioned earlier that back in about the 7th inning or so, a lot of fans started heading for the exits. They thought that was just about it because the Phillies had a 4-2 lead at the time. Not those kids. They stayed around, as did, I'd say, about 95% of the adults who were rewarded with a thrilling come-from-behind victory here this afternoon. Our scoreboard is brought to us by the 26 Chicagoland Seabart dealers, and we'll have some of the scoring highlights of this exciting ball game for you in just a little while. On our scoreboard, there was another ball game played today in the National League, and all we can give you on it is that the Cincinnati Reds defeated Atlanta by a score of 5-4. The Reds picked up 2 in the 3rd. Atlanta got 3 runs in the top of the 5th inning, and they picked up another one in the top of the 8th. They had a 4-2 lead in that ball game, but they could not hold on to it, just as the Phillies could not hold on to a 4-2 lead here today. The Reds came up with 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Cincy evens up that series after losing last night, defeating Atlanta today by a score of 5-4. Manny Sarmiento picks up the victory, and Camp is the loser for Atlanta. The San Francisco Giants, who lead the Western Division by a half game now over Cincinnati and a game over the Dodgers, are hosting Houston on the West Coast this afternoon. Bannister 1-2 going for the Astros against the Count. John Montefusco got his 3rd win against 2 losses last weekend at Los Angeles. The Giants are batting in the bottom of the 4th inning, and there is no score. San Francisco got 3 runs in the 9th inning last night to defeat Houston, 3-2. They should have a pretty good turnout there this afternoon. The Pirates will be hosting the New York Mets tonight. They were good hosts last night. The Mets defeated Pittsburgh 7-3. They have Zachary going for New York. Tonight, Montreal will be at St. Louis. The Cardinals lost one last night. Mike Garman, who has been traded by the Dodgers to Montreal, came on and got a save as Montreal handed the Redbirds their 11th straight loss last night, defeating them 4-1. Hal Deuce, the rookie, 0-1, going for the Expos tonight at St. Louis against John Denny, who will try to end the Birds' losing streak at 11. The Dodgers play at San Diego tonight. Last night, it was San Diego a winner over Los Angeles 3-2. Rick Roden seeks his 5th win of the year tonight for Los Angeles against Gaylord Perry, who is 2-1 for the Padres. And the White Sox over in the American League, who lost to California's Nolan Ryan last night 5-4, will try to even up that series. Kravik pitching for the Sox tonight against Knapp for the Angels. And in that Western Division, Oakland a loser last night under at least interim manager Jack McEwen back at the helm. He succeeds Bobby Winkles, who succeeded Jack McEwen. Winkles resigned last night, much to the surprise of just about everybody. And the A's a loser. Start tonight's action leading California in the Western Division by a game, 3.5 over Kansas City and 4 over Texas. More on the scoreboard when I come back right after this word. I want to talk to you for just a moment here about our good friends, the Z-Bart dealers. You know, some auto rust roofers spend all of their time telling you about their warranty. Well, as America's oldest and largest rust roofer, Z-Bart is concentrated on telling you how reliable, complete, and effective the Z-Bart rust roofing system is. But in the interest of those who may be swayed into thinking more about the warranty than the actual rust roofing, think about this. Many areas of the car are specifically excluded from those many great-sounding warranties from the other guys. But when you come to Z-Bart, you are coming to a leader in automotive rust roofing. You check the others. Then check what Z-Bart does and the protection they give. You'll see why Z-Bart leads the way in rust roofing. Let Z-Bart help you get more enjoyable years out of your expensive car, truck, van, camper, or RV. There are 26 Z-Bart dealers right in the Chicagoland area. You look in the yellow pages under automobile undercoating and rust roofing for the one nearest you. And let him actually show you the great Z-Bart difference. Remember, Z-Bart says it's us or rust. Let me tell you, we had some excitement here today. The Cubs got on the... Whoops. That's all right. Somebody just dropped a tray behind us. Thank heavens, wasn't any food left in it. The Cubs were trailing 1-0. Gary Maddox had hit his first home run of the year in the second inning off of Ray Burris. But the Cubs took the lead with 2 runs in the third inning, and that started out with Ray Burris hitting a triple into center field. And I mean, he really legged it, going from first to third. Went in with a head-first slide, the relay throw from Larry Bowa, hit him, bounced into the end of the dugout of the Cubs for an error, permitting Burris to score to tie up the ballgame. Ivan De Jesus hit a one-hopper to Mike Schmidt, the third baseman, caromed off of him. He scrambled, picked it up, and threw wildly to first base, and De Jesus wound up at second. Originally, Schmidt was charged with 2 errors. One for failing to make the pickup on the ball, and then the second error on the throw. But the official scorer, Dick Dozer, reevaluated it, and he said he changed to 1 error on it because in taking another look at it, he had decided that had Schmidt made a good throw, he would have had De Jesus at first base. So rather than charging with 2 errors, one for dropping the ground ball and the other for the throw, he just charged him with the 1 error on the wild throw. Anyway, he got to second base. Kleins laid down a bunt, legged it out for a base hit. De Jesus went to third. Buckner, then the batter, a deep sacrifice fly to give the Cubs a 2-1 lead. The Phillies tied it in the 6th inning, and it was a triple by Bake McBride that started it. He had to hold as Bowa popped up, but he scored on Mike Schmidt's sacrifice fly deep to center field. Schmidt's 27th run batted into the air, and they took the lead in the 7th inning of the ball game. We'll replay some of that, and also the Cubs rally when I come back right after this message.
Wake up.
Who's it?
You gotta get up.
What time is it?
6:05.
6:05. 6:05? It's Saturday.
You gotta go pick up the airline ticket.
What airline ticket?
Our vacation.
Our vacation is until December.
We have to pick up the tickets before noon today to get the discount. Or maybe it's next week?
No, honey. To
today.
get the discount, we have to get our tickets 3 months before we leave, then stay 8 months or more.
Wait, now remember. You get your tickets 127 days in advance.
Marge.
You stay between 18 and 19 consecutive Fridays.
No.
Yeah.
Continental Airlines has put an end to the discount fares confusion. With Continental's new chicken feed fares, you save up to 40% off regular coach with no restrictions of any kind. The only limitation is the number of seats available. Call your travel agent at Continental. Ask for the chicken feed fare.
Who is it?
It's the airline. We're too late.
Save 40% weekdays, 30% weekends with Continental's chicken feed fares. Call for details. With 1 away in the 7th inning, the game tied at 2. Bob Boone a single into right field for the Phillies. Harrelson then dumped a little Texas leaguer into center field, and that brought to bat for the first time at Wrigley Field in a Philly uniform, pinch hitter Jose Cardinal. This is what happened. First from the stretch, he will pick, swung on, and a little pop-up that's going to drop into left center for a base hit, and here comes the lead runner around. Kingman charging, picks up the ball, drops it. Boone scores as Cardinal dumps one into shallow left center field. It's 3-2 Philadelphia. Jake McBride drew a base on balls in that seventh off relief pitcher Woody Hernandez. That brought to bat Larry Bowen. Hernandez delivers. There's a swing and a high fly ball. Kingman over to his left. It's hit deep. The runner's tacking up. Dave comes in, makes the catch. Long throw to the plate. Bounces in, gets away from Raider. Backed up by Hernandez. Scoring on it is Harrelson. On a sacrifice fly as Larry Bowen drives in his ninth run of the year. Donnie Moore then relieved Hernandez. He got Mike Schmidt on a ground out ball to the shortstop to retire the side. The Phillies held on to that 4-2 lead into the ninth inning. Leadoff walked to Manny Trio, but he was erased on a double play ball, and things were looking pretty dark. But Steve Ontiveros, who had doubled back in the second inning, got his second hit of the day, a single to keep it alive. Dave Rader bounced a single through the right side of the infield. Rudy Meoli went in to run for him. And Greg Rose, who had come into the ball game to play center field in the seventh, was the batter. Gross swings, drive down the left field line, curving, base hit. Here comes Ontiveros to score. And Alfredo waving the other to the plate. He's going to score the tying run. Here goes Gross to third. He's in with a triple. It is 4-4 on Gross's two-run triple. That tied it. Gene Garber then came on, and he got DeJesus looking at strike three to retire the side. Bruce Sutter came on and put the Phillies down in order in the 10th inning, and Garber pitching in the 10th retired the first two Cub batters. Then he hit Dave Kingman with a pitch, and he had to face Manny Trio. Garber into the stretch. The pitch. Hey, there's one hit deep to left field. Hey, kiss him goodbye. Cubs win. 6-4. Little Manny Trio hits one deep into the left center field bleachers with Kingman on base with 2 outs. The Cubs win 6-4. So a thrilling come-from-behind victory elevates the Cubs into first place in the Eastern Division race by a half game over the Phillies. The Cubs' 20th win of the year, and they move 3 games over the 500 mark with the final game of the homestand here at Wrigley Field tomorrow, in which Rick Russell is slated to go against veteran left-hander Steve Carlton for the Phillies. I'm Vince Lloyd, and that's our scoreboard today, brought to us by the 26 Chicagoland Z-Bart dealers. This season, the scoreboard is also brought to you by Continental Airlines. There is no lower fare to anywhere they fly than their chicken feet fares, and there are no restrictions. Bill Berg is standing by on WGN Radio, Chicago.
Evening, Miss Harry.
Why, good evening, Jay.
Them burgers smell awful good.
They're Glenmark's Big Burgers.
Look big, sure enough.
A Glenmark Big Burger is a quarter pound of 100% pure beef.
Is that right?
Yes, indeed. Mr. Tyler's coming round for supper, and I don't like to serve ordinary hamburgers for Mr. Tyler. He's so particular.
Shifty, more like, wheedling his way into your affections.
Jed, I don't like to hear you talk that way about Mr. Tyler.
And I don't like to see you out here barbecuing them tasty-looking big burgers for a snake like...
Don't say another word, Jed.
I can't help it. Seeing you and him billing and cooing over big burgers at picnics, at cookouts, having supper together.
Why, Jed, you're jealous.
Well, sure I'm jealous.
How long have you loved me?
You? It's them big, juicy Glenmark Big Burgers I love.
Glenmark Big Burgers, the steak eater's beef, in Western-style boxes of 12 from your grocer's freezer. It is 20 minutes after 4.